lie. We're not professionals. But we are here. So, welcome to another episode of Northwest Brewmeisters. Brewmeisters. The Brewmeisters.
This would be where when those things would go boop, and then
I'm going to go out and come back in. All right. Welcome to another episode of Northwest.
Oh,
no. No moving. Oh, man. We are so professional. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Northwest Brewmeisters. My name is Jamie.
I am Steve.
We are two guys who like beer.
I think you should too.
All right. Excellent. So we are writing for the Tim, which we'll explain that one maybe later, maybe now. Doesn't matter.
You can watch a previous episode and learn about the Tim as well.
Yeah, you could watch the previous episode where the Tim is in the episode.
Yeah, that was a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
How about four?
I don't know. We don't keep track very well. We don't monitor. We are amazing audio video.
But you know what's cool? It captures it candidly, and we just go with the flow.
We are candid.
And have fun.
Candid. Eat that candid camera. Wow, dated myself there.
Yeah, I know, right? Woo! And anyway,
does anybody out there know what candid camera was? All right, so hey,
our friend Bo does.
Yeah, I bet Bo does. Right,
he's like around our age, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so today I got the recipe. We are brewing a Saison, which is interesting. So we'll just read directly from the recipe, because this is another recipe from our local supplier, Northwest Brewers Supply. You can look them up on the internet, and maybe go if you live up here in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe you can go patronize them. They're good people. And
no, they don't even know we're doing this or sponsor us. So we just support them because we like to support local if we can.
Right, absolutely. So anyways, this light and highly attenuated Saison-style beer finishes dry to slightly tart, coupled with mild, fruity, and spicy aromas. So, a while back, you may have watched us drink a Margarita Gose, or Goose. We don't know how to pronounce it, really, but it's Gose. It's a type of alcoholic drink, because we stand firmly that we like all beers, and we didn't like that, therefore, it ain't beer.
It was not a beer.
Yeah, we're not sure what it was. Super sour, and it might have been because it was a margarita one, but then we saw one that was, and this was from Elysian, and we like Elysian. Yeah. We think Elysian makes okay beer. And it was a strawberry watermelon or dragon fruit Gose. Anyways, it was not good either. It was like drinking margarita mix without any of the other stuff that turns it into a margarita.
Right.
I think. Maybe. Kind of.
All I did was take a taste of it. I didn't actually drink a full one. You drink a full one. So was that your interpretation of that beer, man?
I don't know. I've never drank margarita mix, so I couldn't tell you. I'm not a hard alcohol guy. I like beer. Beer is what I like. Anyways, just think of lemonade and take all the good stuff of lemonade out and leave all the bad stuff. That was a Gose.
And then try to mix it with a beer.
Yeah. Carbonate it and alcoholate it. Alcoholate? I think that should be a word. Alcoholate. Sounds like a good word to me. End result, we didn't like it.
Therefore, not a beer.
But I was reading about Saisons, and I thought, oh, these things are going to be similar to that. But hey, let's give it a shot. Maybe it'll be better. So we got a Saison and drank it, and my wife loved it. And she went out and bought 2 more bottles.
Oh, the larger 2200 bottles that you had? Yeah.
Yeah, the big one.
It definitely had that tartness to it.
It did, but it was nothing like the Gose.
Oh, no.
It was definitely drinkable. I don't know if it's a favored beer, but it was definitely drinkable. It wasn't like make my face screw up in strange contortions.
No, it just had kind of a tart aftertaste to it, you know.
Grapefruit juice. It's like drinking grapefruit juice beer.
Right, but it didn't taste like grapefruit though. It just had kind of the same effect you would have on your mouth. It was kind of, ooh.
It's like, this is not pleasant. Why do people do this to themselves? Anyway, so we heard about sours and things like that, and the Saisons are in the sours section at our local beer specialty beer supply, not the brewing supply store, but where we buy our special beers when we like to drink fancy beers.
Right.
In any case, long story short, it's kind of late for that. Okay. Long story, slightly shorter. We're gonna try Saison today, and it tastes pretty good. We like the one we have. We got a couple by Freim, P-F-R-E-I-M. So I'm thinking if you're American, it can be either Frame or Freim or Freim, because we don't really know how to pronounce E-I.
In Germany, it'd be Freim.
Straight up. Yeah. There would be no question. Freim. Yeah. And it would be Freim. Because fair.
Yeah.
The word, which is, by the way, the word for horse. I happen to know this. because Aufsautlich mein Pferd, which means something about saddling up my horse.
Oh, okay.
It's from a song I sang a long time ago when I was in the Helena Boy Choir, and we say it's an old German. It's kind of a folk tune type deal. I mean, it's an old song, but it's the hunter from Kurzwalds.
Oh, okay.
Ein Jäger aus Kurzwalds, right? And it's a great song. But there's one Aufsautlich mich mein Pferd, and he takes his horse and goes riding. Yes, that's the only part I remember.
Oh, okay. Cool.
There's a lot of oonts in there, which are fun to sing.
It's that polka sound.
Especially
right?
when you're like 10.
That's a polka word.
Yeah, it's definitely a polka word. Anyhow, where were we?
Saison. Or Saison.
Well, we were talking about Free.
Right. Freem, the Freem or Frime, whatever that, how do you pronounce that brewery? You know?
I would say Frime. I would definitely say that Greg said it wrong.
Possibly.
He says a lot of things wrong. No offense, Greg, if you're watching. We love you, man. All right.
Like, for you, I'm jacking my prices up.
Hey, Greg, is this beer really $96 a bottle for
Yes.
you? Okay. No. Okay. So I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. So, Frime, we're talking about the Frime brewery.
Right. So, to Frime, it's hard for the American tongue to say, but I'm quite certain it's Frime. Frime. It's like a plosive in front of the F. You know. So, in any case, we've got a couple of bottles of those that are in the fridge. We probably should have been drinking them first, but we're drinking.
It's a Red Hook Brewery Hoppy Pack.
Yep.
We're not doing anything fancy
IPA.
this time.
Yeah.
That was the first one I grabbed, was a wheat IPA, which is interesting because you wouldn't really think of a wheat IPA.
No, you don't think of it. So that is interesting in
It's
and of
actually
itself.
pretty good.
But,
Oh, I actually have the can right here.
oh, look at that.
So-
Show. I will guide you.
Guide me through.
That's good. That's good. Rotate the can. We'll rotate the can the other way.
Just rotate completely.
No, the other way. The other way.
There we go.
Wait, a little more. Stop. Watch our professionalism right here. This is what we so need a producer, dude. Okay, so this is what we're drinking. It's from Red Hook. It's actually pretty good. Not too bad.
Right. There's other styles of beer in that pack. It's just like the summer version of their variety pack.
Red Hook is, out of Seattle, so I tend to favor them when I just want kind of house beer. I'm not trying to get fancy.
Yeah, that's what we're drinking. We're drinking house beers. Just like, not fancy, not $9 a bottle crazy stuff.
Right.
Just a 12-pack off the store shelf type stuff. But it's good. So anyways, let's see. So original gravity, 1.058. Final gravity, 1.010. Alcohol, 6.3%. IBU, 26. So not very hoppy, and it's going to have a little, you might not want to drive after drinking this one.
Probably not.
Right. But since we don't use hygrometers or anything, we just kind of go for it. We never know how much.
Yeah, we don't
beer
actually
it is.
measure our gravities.
Maybe one day we will.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
if we ever started, well, actually, might be inclined to do it next brew day.
Oh, tell
Because
them.
next-
Is that when we're doing that? Next brew day?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. That.
Nice. Let's do it. Tell them
We
about
can.
this.
We don't have to. We can do it a different brew day. It's just I thought we'd do it the next brew day.
Yeah, let's do it. No, man.
So-
You got a plan. This is a great idea.
All our
Tell
brew
the
days that
people.
we've broadcasted with you have been the recipes from our supply store, and which is fine. There's nothing wrong with brewing someone else's recipe, but we want to start getting into our own flavors, and so we're going to actually assemble our own kit based off the studies we've done, what we've been reading, learning about the grains and how to kind of match stuff up.
And by we, he means he.
Well,
I apparently have forgotten how to read.
okay, but yeah, I'm gonna. I don't quite have my recipe list yet, but we'll get it figured out. But the style I want to do is what's called an English strong ale or an old ale. So it's not an IPA in the sense where it's not going to be hoppy, but it's going to be strong like an IPA as far as ABV goes. So it's going to be probably a lot of sugars going into it.
And we do have a hygrometer. Hygrometer or hydrometer?
Hydrometer.
Hydrometer.
Hygrometer measures humidity.
Oh.
Hydrometer measures specific gravity.
Ah, I see.
And basically how that
Hydrometer.
works is when you buy a hydrometer for brewing, it comes in I'm just randomizing the size here. It comes in its own container, but that container is calibrated to that hydrometer. And so what we're going to need to get also, some people call them a wine thief, to where we can stick it down in the carboy and then take a little piece of it and you put it in that that container, that comes with your hydrometer, and then you submerge the hydrometer in it, and then you read out the gravity.
Yeah. Other people call them turkey basters.
Well, this is specific. This is different.
It's a special turkey baster.
It's a special turkey baster, but commonly referred to as a wine thief. So
what is? Let's see. The reason I say that because I read about them,
yeah.
and the guy said, or you could use a turkey baster.
The problem is we're not going to get a turkey baster down into the cardboard.
So wine thief is very, 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 very
probably very long turkey baster. Yeah, because now the original gravity we can do beforehand. You take your original gravity reading before you ferment. And then after you ferment, you could actually take your gravity readings throughout the fermentation as well. Just rule of thumb though, never ever pour whatever you don't use back in. Once you pull it from that fermenter, it's done. It doesn't go back.
Can you drink it?
I don't see why not. It won't taste very good, but you can drink it.
I don't know, man. I kind of, we sampled. By the way, we sampled our Newcastle that we did last time.
Tastes like Newcastle, just not carbonated Newcastle.
Only better because we made it.
No, right. but you could take your original gravity reading before you ferment, and then some brewers will take gravity readings at different intervals throughout the fermentation to kind of measure what the alcohol is going to be, because your specific gravity will give you an indicator of your alcohol level. And then at the end of the fermentation, you'll take another gravity reading, and then that's your final gravity.
Yeah, but that one, that's what you got, right?
Yeah, that's what you have.
Just it.
Now you can probably work it if you need to. You can add some sugar to the wort. And then, because the yeast will, even though they consume all the sugars, if you add more sugar, they'll wake up and they'll start doing their thing again. Because they kind of go dormant. They don't actually die off. They go dormant.
Well, do they all go dormant? I mean, because they can only exist in a certain level of alcohol.
Right.
That's why, I mean, you see those, when you see the yeast packets, like if you ever read a chart on yeast, let's
get the water going.
We're
on more of a time constraint this time, but we can keep talking about it.
All right, so you pour the water and I'll talk. So anyhow, when you see those yeast charts, you'll see what they are and various things about them. But one of the columns is usually alcohol tolerance.
Oh, right.
And for like your beers that really have high level alcohols, like the 11s, which is just insanely alcoholic, if you ask me. While you're doing that, hand me the muslin sock. The muslin sock. Anyhow, when you lost my train of thought.
Now you're talking about there is a limit on how much yeast can survive.
Yeah, the yeast can't hang with. I mean, if the alcohol level is too high, the yeast is just like, no, I'm not.
Right, but activating your yeast for a little bit is not going to kill them. It's just you're just waking them up a little bit so they produce a little bit more.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If your gravity is a little bit low and you wanted it, or a little bit high and you wanted a different reading or something, then you can kind of just give them a little nudge, and they'll keep doing their job. And then you can take another reading after a few days or whatever. And then if your final gravity is achieved, then you can move on to your either your bottling or your racking, whatever you want to do. All right, water is good.
That's a mess.
All right, we'll do the standard cold steep. Let's get some fire.
All right, rocking and rolling.
Oh, we need to make that longer, because it's not submerging all the grains. That might work now.
Yeah, struck it. Oh. Oops. Well, that's one way to do it.
Not the way I wanted to do that one.
That's okay. This is before the boil, so we're okay. Just that'll be fine.
Stop being stupid.
It's going to be some very fibrous beer.
Well, it's a good thing we have a strainer.
Yeah! Nice.
All right, we're good.
All right, I think we're good.
And the seed's pendulating, so.
Oh, who we got there? Chase.
Hey, Chase.
Good to see you,
good
man.
Good to see you again, man.
Thanks for popping in.
Okay, let's get the timer going. Oh, no, I don't need the timer yet.
No, you need the thermometer, but you probably don't even need that yet either. So I definitely cleaned all of the caramelized sugary goop that was all over the side of this because I boiled it over last time.
It happens. All right. So yeah, back to what I was talking about with the gravity. So you would take your final gravity reading after fermentation, and hopefully it's in the ballpark of what you're trying to achieve. Reason we don't do all those extra steps, since we don't produce our own beers yet. We're following someone else's recipe, so it's kind of already done for you. And even if we did, we could measure it to see how close we are, but we really don't care. We just
follow the recipe so we can drink the beer and have fun. You know?
Yeah, well, and the other thing is we don't try too hard to replicate.
Right.
If you think about it at this point, because we brew a different kind of beer
Almost every
time.
time. Yeah.
It's like sometimes we'll come back around, but how long has it been? Well, it hasn't been that long since we did the Newcastle because I drank all my wife's Newcastles.
But in this case, when we brew our strong ale, we are going to do a little bit more by the book because it's going to be a completely contrived recipe, nothing that we're following. I haven't picked out the exact ingredients, but it's going to be made with amber malts.
It's going to have water in it.
Water. Got to be water in it. Amber malts. I'm just going to use extract, but it'll be amber malts. And then also for some specialty grains, probably just a crystal malt. I'm not sure what kind of crystal malt yet, but I'll get that figured out. Hops-wise, bittering hops, probably a Centennial at the 60 mark. And then for finishing hops, maybe at the 2-minute mark or 1-minute mark, I might throw some Chinook or something in. I'm not sure yet. I gotta write it all out and figure out what I want to do. But I will take gravity readings, original and final gravity, and then this time we're actually going to document everything to a T. At least I am. I'm gonna keep.
Well, I think you should.
I'm gonna do a logbook style and like
with our
date, time, and everything. You know.
With our one experimental beer, there wasn't much to document.
There wasn't much to document, but this will be an example of truly documenting the beer. Because
although we were careful with that.
It is experimental. So.
But with the experimental beer, we did everything. Every step was next to each other, so everything was the same except for the citra hops at the end.
Right. All right, let's do a quick initial reading.
I gotta tell you, I'm plenty warm. The heat keeps waving up at
going
me.
at you. We're at 82, so we got a ways to go.
Okay, got some time. I'll just sit here and sweat.
All right. So yeah, we're looking forward to that in a couple weeks. Hopefully you are too. And then about 6 weeks after that, we can tell you how it came out. We'll take some tasting notes and decide if it's something that we ever want to make again. But the point is, it'll be done. It'll be documented. It'll be terrible or it'll be good.
So, hey, while we're talking, remember how we were talking yesterday? It seems like everything is the same extract. Every beer we get, it's like light Pilsner, light Pilsner, light Pilsner. It didn't matter what beer we're making. Well, my friend, today it is not the same.
What do we have this time?
Today we have a Pilsen liquid malt extract, which is the one that we always get.
Right.
But the other one is a wheat liquid malt extract.
Okay.
And it says, I looked at the bottle. We can look at it later when we go grab them. It's Bavarian wheat something or other.
Oh.
So, look at that. We do get different malt extracts.
Finally.
I was beginning to think it's all the same. And then 1 pound of dextrose, straight up corn sugar.
That is right here.
It's going to be foamy.
Yeah.
Potential for boil over is high with this one, which is not good because we don't have good luck with those.
Not lately. Last episode was just, wow, we were way off. We were just distracted or something. Both of us made little errors,
It was twice in a row. It's just like, man, what are you, stupid? Come on.
Yeah, we started pouring.
Focus.
We started pouring Jamie's beer into the carboy. We hadn't even chilled it yet. Mine, I forgot to put in my finishing hops when it was still hot.
So you kind of dry hop 3 times, and
Kind of, yeah.
I mean,
Kind of, yeah.
no wonder that's. Oh, tell them about that one.
Oh yeah, the beer I made last time was a New England style hazy IPA, and it had a lot of ingredients that went into it. In fact,
4 hops.
four batches of hops on the hop schedule. 2 of them were dry hop, meaning it was done after fermentation started, not during the boil. And in the end, I had probably what looked like 2.5 inches of sludge at the bottom of the carboy, and it was very. I mean, it's supposed to be hazy, but this looked like it was like I could have cut with a knife. It was so thick in there.
Like soupy?
Soupy, yeah. Like there were still chunks suspended in there. You know what I mean?
Chicken noodle beer?
Yeah, pretty much. And so I racked it over, and my siphon. I don't know. This new siphon I picked up is not very good, but I ended up sucking up sludge, and I think I just transferred half of the sludge into the secondary. So I'm gonna have to rack it again probably.
You should take that back, dude.
So take what back?
Your siphon.
Oh, I think because I had 2.5 inches of sludge, it went down into the sludge.
Oh,
I think is what happened.
Possible.
And then
All right,
so what I
try it
ended up doing was having to restart the siphon. I lifted it up a few inches and then got it going, and then tried as lightly as I could set it down. After that it was fine, but initially I was just like, there's a bunch of mud in my beer now.
Well, you might have to rack twice.
Yeah. You always sacrifice a little bit of your beer when you rack it,
which
but
is saddening.
but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So,
Okay, enough of that.
yeah, I might rack it one more time just to ensure that it's not so chewy in the end. You know,
It's like, how's that beer?
I don't know. I taste the toffee.
Pretty good. I got gas now. Yeah, it's to be expected.
Yep. Should have planned for that one. Yeah, we're already over 100, man. Sweet. And for anybody just tuning in or new to the brewing process, we're trying to get to 150 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit before we actually start our steeping timer.
Right. We're basically making grain tea at this point.
You know, honestly, what we're kind of doing, this is kind of a mashing process as well. If you think about it, we're keeping the grains collected in the sock, and then the sparging is when we pull it up. We're separating the grain from the water. That's sparging in a sense. In the most basic sense for sparging, when you separate the grains from.
So why don't mashing people use muslin socks?
Because they're making malts, and you want to have as much of the husks and stuff in there when you're doing your job because of all the crap. No, I shouldn't say crap, but all the the starches and stuff they're going to come out of it to get converted to sugars. That's the most basic definition of malting is you're converting starches to sugars.
Right, but but what I'm saying is, why do they let it be in there loose?
I don't know, just the way it is. Probably because you got to stir it a lot too. And you probably want that. You want as much of that water on your grains and your husks and stuff. You know what I mean?
Does it take longer?
Yeah, because when you do your own malts, when you mash, you've got to separate, the sugars. You got to convert it into sugars, and you got to separate. That's the sparging, the separation.
Right, I get it. You filter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the way I've seen it done, the way I've assisted with, I've never done all grain brewing by myself, but in fact, the guy that got me introduced to the brewing world, he was an all grain brewer, and back when I was in the military, he was in the military as well. He would have brew days at his house, invite people over, and we'd start like at 7 or 8 in the morning because it was an all-day process for all grain. You know what I mean? And it just took a while because you had to boil the grains.
Did you boil them?
Well, I'm not like I shouldn't say boil, but you had to heat the water to a certain temperature, which I don't know what it is.
Kind of like this.
Kind of like this.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. This is kind of like mashing, kind of, but not
talking.
But not mashing.
Keep talking.
So when you mash, you get your water up to a certain temperature, maintain that temperature for so long. You have all your grains in there, your whatever you're using to make your malts, and then once that time is achieved and that temperature is achieved for so long, then you separate all that, and that's what the sparging method is. The way we did it was we poured all the grains into a cooler. It's a giant cooler.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And then he had modified the inside of the cooler where the little drain plug is. It was like this snaky, like meshy filter he put on there. And so pour everything in there, grains in all water, all just floating around loose, and then we're stirring it, taking temperature readings, and then once it achieved that perfect temperature, we opened the plug up, and then all the wort drained into.
Wait, was it wort or was it extract?
No, it's not extract. Extract is when you dehydrate it.
Okay.
It's wort. It's malted. It's just malted water, I guess you could say.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is wort. It's just not finished yet because you haven't put in your specialty grains yet, and that's where this thing comes into play. Because by us using the extract, that's already mashed wort is what that is. It's already mashed malts.
Right. No, I get that. And then dehydrated down to.
And it's dehydrated to the
that
slime.
Or dehydrated all the way to powder in that case.
Right.
No, I get that.
So that's the basic process right there.
I just thought that maybe it would still be called extract because you had extracted the sugars from.
No, if you want to call it anything,
things.
just call it malts because that's what you did. Is you malted it. You didn't do any extracts. Extracts is the dehydrated stuff. So I understand what you're saying, but it's not the right way to describe it. It's not an extract because it's not dehydrated.
You should hear us talk about code.
No, it's just malted. It's just malt.
I got you.
You made your malts. Is what you did.
So in any case, getting to this, we got the Pilsen malt. So we got different extracts this time around, which is something we were just discussing just the other day. We're like, it's like, why do we never? What's our temperature like?
Now we're at 125.
Hold up.
Yeah,
right around there.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Start trying
Back.
to level it off a little bit.
Back
So that
down
we
our
can
ascent.
maintain and not overshoot.
So our hops today, we got Golding for a bittering hops and Saison for a aroma hop. Although we're putting in the Saison at 10 minutes, so it's not going to be much of an aroma hop.
No. Some of it's going to cook off, but
Well, yeah, I'm
it's,
just saying.
it's kind of the point. It's a Saison. You don't want a hoppy.
Yeah, which is why we get the.
That's going to be more.
IBU.
It's going to affect more the flavor than anything.
And then our yeast is a 3711 French Saison, which is tolerant of 65 to 77 degrees.
Sweet.
Might put this one in the basement again. See you guys later. Later, dude.
Later.
All right, you're off to work.
El asiento trabaja.
Okay.
El asiento está movido. El asiento, sí.
Careful,
Careful,
honey.
honey.
Thanks, kiddo.
On this side.
Llaves. Come on.
All right, it's getting there.
All right. Oh, I'm old. I'm old. Don't get old, people. Don't do it. Unless you're already old, in which case I respect you. Well done. You've survived this long. You can't say that without insulting people. Everyone's insulting.
You can't say anything without insulting one person somewhere. You know?
I'm sure somewhere out there, just say something like
You
water.
can say it's a beautiful day, and someo's going to get offended by
I'm
that.
offended.
Somewhere, somebody will get offended by that. Why is it going to be a beautiful day?
It doesn't. Be an ugly day. I don't care. You shut up. All right, how we doing? You know what we need, my friend?
More beer.
Exactly. Shall we go with the Pfrimes?
Sure. Why not?
All right.
Might as well. I mean, it's not like we're going to get smashed or anything, but might as well enjoy it first. Kind of our policy, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm going to back this up just a little bit. And what I'm doing here is kind of regulating the temperature or the intensity of the flame, so that when we reach our 150 degrees, we don't overshoot our mark. And that way we can maintain it, because once we achieve temperature, we're going to steep these grains for 30 minutes. As we mentioned so many times before, it's like a giant tea bag.
The front seat is not moving again.
Okay.
Trials and tribulations of the family life. Yeah, we're getting close. We're about 140 degrees. I wonder why I'm taking it at different points. The heat doesn't always distribute evenly, so I'll try to see where we're at different areas in the pot.
Oh, man.
These are the fancy champagne style.
Yeah. Snooty beers. All right. Go ahead. Hold a bottle up there. Oh, it's Pfriem. It's IEM. It's Pfriem.
Cream. Oh, we were wrong.
We're wrong. I thought that I didn't look. So Pfriem.
It was bottled
Saison.
on May 19th.
Oh.
Besides what we had yesterday, I think we've had this before, even
Have we?
farther back. There was something we had, something else. Maybe it wasn't this one, but we did have something else by this Spring Brewery. Where are you from?
Hood River, Oregon.
Ah, there you are. Oh, yep, Hood River. Farmhouse Ale.
Right. See, now this is the thing about saisons. It's like farmhouse ales and sours and saisons kind of all get lumped.
Oh, they do?
It's not a very well defined style of beer anymore. I mean, I think once upon a time it was, and now it's not. Not 100% sure why. I was just reading on it it was actually a site called ratemybeer.com or something.
Wow.
And well, the discussion was, it's like, well, where do these beers belong on our site? You know, we don't know where to put them. It was from just members and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, it's kind of...
I didn't hold up the beer for
That's
our
right.
audience. All right.
Oh, that's pretty good. Right there.
Okay.
So, there we go. Pfriem beer. What do we got on the back? Enjoy at 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. 6.5% alcohol. I think most of the saisons are they got a little bit of a kick as far as the alcohol goes.
A little meteor.
A little meteor. A little heavier beer.
All right, we're at 144, 145. Back that off just a wee bit.
146.
We're about to hit temperature. Let me get the timer set up. All right. But yeah, I think as far as cost-wise, you can buy conversion kits for your coolers, like if we're ever to try to do an all grain thing,
Right?
where everything there is. That's not a timer. That's a calculator. Everything is
That's
there
not
for
correct,
you.
man.
You just have to buy the right kind of cooler, and then you can modify your cooler to be your mash tun, as they call it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in quick terms, yeah, when you malt your grains, you're just making malts. That's it. It's like a champagne bottle.
Makes you feel all fancy.
But yes, I can understand why you would think they're called extracts, because you're extracting.
Right.
Yeah, and I can see that. I can see
I
the
mean,
context.
and the dehydrated ones, the only difference between that and what you've made with a full thing is that they're dehydrated.
Partially dehydrated, yeah. And then same with those dry malt extracts we use, the pure powder ones.
No, they're
It's just fully
just
dehydrated.
dehydrated all the way.
So everything's the same. Yeah, you're right. Everything's the same.
So
Absolutely.
that's why I was asking you, because we call this wort. Is it just not wort until after you've like steeped your specialty grains and stuff like that?
I don't know where it becomes wort. You know what I
When does
mean?
it become wort?
Wort. I believe it's pronounced wort, like wort, W-E-R-T, but it's spelled W-O-R-T, like a wort. You know?
You say wort.
Our audience is like, yeah, these guys are gone.
Nope.
They've lost themselves.
Come on, you guys saw Sesame Street. At
Yeah.
least some of you did. If you're old enough to drink beer, you're old enough to see the aliens in Sesame Street.
Yeah, I remember.
But only in America.
Only in America.
Well, yeah, in Jamieland, you could be able to drink beer at the age of 6.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Or,
Can you reach a counter?
well, you don't even have to do that.
think
Can
it
your
really
mom
close.
get it? Can you hold the cup without?
Hold a cup.
Can you hold the sippy cup?
Temperature achieved. Cranky down. Timer going. All right, 30 minutes. Here we go.
Nice. So what else is there? There's not much else.
Oh
So
yeah. So,
everything else is really standard. Half an hour at this temperature. Don't
Right.
squeeze the bag.
don't squeeze.
Add all the extracts. Add hot packet 1, which is the Golding. Hot packet 2 at 10 minutes, at the 10-minute mark. Boil for an hour. Cool as quickly as possible to 100 degrees. Fill your sanitized primary fermenter with 2 gallons of cold water. Add your wort. Add the yeast. Yada, 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 etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, I don't know what the distinction is when it becomes wort. Maybe it's after the specialty grains and the hops. When it's all done, maybe when the boil's done, that's when it becomes wort. You know what I mean? Maybe. So
I guess so, because it says.
we can probably look it up. I'm sure.
Well, look right here. Where is it? Maybe this one isn't quite as. No, it's right here. Add all extracts to the kettle. Do your best to fully dissolve them before applying direct heat. You now have wort, unfermented beer. Bring your wort to a boil, watching carefully for a boil over. So yeah, I'm thinking the only difference is the specialty grains. That's it.
and hops.
Well, no, because you have wort before you add the
It was
hops.
before the hops. Okay.
Yeah, look, it says add all extracts to the kettle. Do your best. You now have wort.
Okay. So
and then it says bring the wort
so
to
your
a
malt.
boil.
So when you have your malts and your grains together, that's wort then. All right, makes sense.
I guess so. That's just kind of deducing things.
Yeah.
It's very important. I'm really glad we devoted 20 minutes of this broadcast to that discussion. That was
Hey, you know, I'll pass the time while we're watching things steep.
157. All right.
We're a little high. Yeah, we're good, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't
we are
want-
on the high side.
I don't want it to keep climbing. That's why I brought the flame down.
Nope. I got it. It'd be really cool
Big
if
time down next to it.
we could see the flame.
I can see it right here. I mean, just got to kind of crane
All
myself.
right. Have you tasted this yet?
No, that's my first drink for this pour.
All right, so this is the Freem. The Freem. Freem. That's a lot of consonants at the PFR. That is not an American thing.
Right.
Is it a silent P? I don't think it is. It's German. Germans don't believe in silent anything.
No. You pronounce every consonant.
Everything. All right, let's go for it.
How's that yeasty aftertaste? Like, you know what I mean?
It's like almost minty.
Yeah, right?
Almost
I was
minty.
thinking minty, almost minty, but not mint.
So it is tart. It's definitely tart, but not nearly as bad as the Goes. The Goes took tart to the next level.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
whose comment is that? I can't see the name.
that's just Chase.
Is that Chase? Okay.
I mean, not just Chase. It is the Chase.
The Chase.
The Chase.
What do you say?
Hi.
There's like a whole paragraph there.
No, that says pro tips. Start every broadcast by inviting viewers to.
Oh.
This is his comment. This little hi.
Oh, well, I saw that thing up there that said hi. That's why I was like, there's like a whole paragraph there.
No.
I
Hi,
get it.
this
It's-
is a sample comment. Hover
Okay.
over it or tap to see
Oh, with the
your
glasses
options.
on in the distance, I can't see.
Yeah, I know. We need like a 90-inch screen TV behind the
Behind
camera
it, yeah,
so that
yeah.
when we respond to comments, we're not looking over here. Hey, maybe in the future. Who knows?
Well, last time we were broadcasting, we were talking with Bo. I kept looking at the screen. It's like,
It's
nope,
like,
you're over here.
Bo's over there, man. It's all right.
Yeah,
So this stuff is not nearly as bad as the Goes.
no, it's pretty good. Well, what was it we had yesterday? The same thing?
No, yes, I could go get a bottle of it because my wife, we don't have to drink it because she likes it. So
Right.
let's save it for her. But tell you what, I'll go get a bottle.
Because I thought it was the same thing because I was making fun of the champagne style bottle.
Yeah, well, it still does. It has the fancy bottle and all, but I'll go get it.
Okay. I'll talk to folks. Yeah, Jamie and I did talk about possibly moving on to all grain one day, but we can't really come up with a definitive answer if we want to do that or not because we kind of enjoy just the simplicity of using extracts, honestly. And there's nothing wrong with extract brewing. In fact, if you refer back to a few episodes ago, probably some of the first ones, we tell you a story about a friend of one of our brew supply guys that won awards and for home brewing, and he lives and dies by extracts. He doesn't care about all grain. He's won like first place awards at regional brewing contests. It was so funny. So one time he won. He was called up to talk, to address everybody. All this said was extract, bitches, and dropped the mic. I mean, classic style. So yeah. Hey, and he returns. I was telling him about what's his name, Mark, or whatever, that we met that one time. That extract bitches guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the insanity, man. That was not insanity, just super intense.
Yeah, that dude really loves his brewing.
Oh, top commenter. I like him. Hey, Bo. Guess who's
Hey.
here, man?
Good to see you again, man.
Bo Adams. All right, go ahead and show him this one because it works as I can.
That's right. Lost Abbey. That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you let me know.
Right about there. That's good.
So, Bo, we're just kind of talking about Saison beers and showing some examples of things we've been drinking. And that's what we're brewing today is a Saison.
Not that Saison.
No, not this one. That's right. This one, that's right, the Carnival, because we're having fun with this.
Finger
Finger beer. So.
We're drinking snooty beers today, Bo. Snooty beers. Look at this fancy top. Fancy top. Oh yeah.
Looks like a champagne bottle.
We are high freaking society today, man.
Now to get you caught up real quick, next brew day in a couple weeks, instead of doing the recipes like we usually do from our local brew supply, we are doing our own. We're gonna make a English old ale, or what they also call a strong ale. Not an IPA, but more like an amber style ale, but it's gonna have a little higher ABV. So as in the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna put together the kit, figure out exactly what kind of malt extracts I want to use and what hops I want to use. And yeah. So next time it's going to be straight up our own recipe, nobody else's.
Northwest Brewmeister Special.
Strong ale.
How special is it? Not very, but it's the first one we done, so that's
Right.
the name it gets.
I guess I should go buy an official Northwest Brewmeisters notebook to start keeping notes for all the beers we make.
Get
We
it
actually make
etched.
ourselves.
Get it etched. That'd be cool.
Well, I was gonna buy one of those. I guess they're made from recycled paper, but it's like that black and white, snowy looking classic penmanship books we used to get.
Oh,
You know
yeah?
what I mean, I was thinking of grabbing one of those.
I know someone who makes stickers. We could get stickers made.
Oh yeah.
Everyone loves stickers, right?
Who doesn't like stickers?
I don't like stickers.
Says the guy that suggests the stickers. I don't like stickers. But we can get stickers made.
I'm an opportunist, man. I'll sell what I don't like.
I did see. I looked on Amazon not too long ago, and there's some people that make like this kind of old world style brewing journal. It's pre-lined, it's kind of set up for you. But I mean, they're kind of pricey. It's like I can just use a notebook.
You could.
I could do it like an old naval log, man. You remember those days?
Maybe we should get stickers. I do. I know someone right here in town. She makes stickers.
I can just jack one of those green logbooks from work.
You
Like we
absolutely
used to
should.
do for watch standing. Those watch standing logs.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't talk about stealing government supplies on air.
I didn't say anything about government until you said it.
Oh, that's true. But now you said it.
No, so we're not going to take anything from work.
Yeah, okay, so nix that idea. Go ahead and do that.
No, I don't know. Reason being is I want to document every step of the process next time when we brew this our own recipe. Where I'm going to use this date and like what we did, and then as I take measurements and stuff throughout the fermentation process, just kind of log everything. That way, if it actually comes out worth it, we can repeat it maybe. So we'll see.
Well, tell you what, some of our old Navy buddies. Well, I don't know. Did you ever know Les Queen?
No.
Okay. What was he? Was he 134? He must have been 134. Anyways, started a brewery.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're distributors only right now, right? So you can't. I mean, how you work that? How you're a distributor only?
You probably visit bars and tap houses and just literally be a salesman. Like, hey, we're a brewery.
Yeah, but apparently
maybe give some free samples. Like here's a few 6-packs. See if people like it. You know what I mean? Like you literally kind of go bar to bar, like door to door style.
that'd be awesome, and then we could go down yet another rabbit hole, doing something that we don't want to do, but we're doing.
I know, right?
We have a bad habit of doing that. It's like, what do you want to do? This. Why are you doing that? Well, because it was a good idea, and it's kind of what we do, but not really.
It sounded really good when we were drinking.
Yeah, it's not even close. Any more comments here? Are you even reading Bo's comments? Look at
Oh,
this.
crap. Sorry,
Look at
bro. I
that.
didn't.
The guy's
I was yakking. I didn't read your comments.
chatting away at us. I'm off camera.
I can't even see him. I'm blind. Oh, he has beer. He says, "Let's go."
Oh, nice. Good. Well done, Bo.
He says, "Mine's in a can." He says, "I'm in favor of theft."
He's in favor of theft?
He
Okay.
said, or start threatening bar owners. You're gonna buy my beer or else.
I'm down with that. It's called extortion, and why not? You got to get ahead in this world. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever like make beer to distribute, but it should be fun.
It would be. I do like the idea of documenting the heck out of yours.
Well, that's the right way to do it. I mean, especially if you a lot of times, with brewing, you're experimenting. If you think about it, unless you're just really that good, how every grain works together and everything, which I don't know if there's anybody out there. There might be one or two people in the world that know how every grain and every hop and everything works together, but I sure as hell don't. So
That's one
part
easy.
of the fun of brewing, part of the fun of brewing is experimenting. Like, let's try these combinations and see how it comes out.
Right.
And if it's terrible, then at least it's terrible. So
We never make terrible beer.
no,
We make great beer. We love our beer.
so far we haven't messed up a batch yet.
And we're not biased either. We're very honest with ourselves. We did make that one. But then again, it did sit in the fermenter for 2 years.
Oh,
so,
was that the one that was like the last thing we made like years ago?
Yeah,
before we
but
started
when
brewing
you
again?
left and went to California and
Yeah.
it got shoved in my basement and I literally found it.
It's like, oh yeah.
It's like, wow, there's a
Didn't
big
you
glass
actually
bottle
call
full of
me?
some horrible liquid down
Didn't you
here.
actually call me and say, "Hey, do you think it's so good?"
I did. Because you are the one who said, technically beer never goes bad, just avoid the sunlight, and it was sitting buried.
Oh, I mean, there is a limit, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean,
You could probably keep something in a fermenter for a few months. I wouldn't go a couple of years.
kind of regret not tasting that stuff now. I mean, it might have been just an awful, awful experience, but it would have been an experience.
I bet by that time, with all the stuff that was in there probably had mold on it, man, or in it, you know.
Didn't though.
Didn't? When he
Didn't.
killed it? No? Okay.
No, and I remember popping the top, and it smelled like whiskey.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, you could smell
Super
the
strong.
alcohol. It's just
Yeah.
like, ooh, I don't know how that happens.
That's interesting.
It could have been that a lot of the alcohol kind of evaporated up into the top, and that's what
true.
came out. I don't know.
That's true.
All I know is that stuff was, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably not wise. Not wise.
No, that's all right, though.
But I've done lots of not wise. I have eaten squid guts, and I did not die.
Yeah.
It was revolting.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember
if
everything I've eaten when I was
you're
overseas.
ever in Japan, Bo,
Yeah.
don't eat squid
That's where I
guts.
was in Japan. I was 4 years over there, and I ate some interesting things. Let me put it that way.
I got to tell you, the boiled bugs, was less gross than the squid guts.
I believe you. Because when I was in Thailand, I remember walking like open air markets,
Mm-hmm.
and people would have bugs and things just out, and like the locals were buying like bags of grasshoppers or whatever these things were, and eating like potato chips and popcorn. You know, it's just like a delicacy.
Were they like dried or baked or
I think they
something?
were fried or something, or kind of thing. Yeah,
Probably just crunchy.
wok,
at that
wok
point.
fried or whatever. Yeah, they were crunchy.
These
Yeah.
things were not crunchy. I mean, they weren't too gross. And I tried them. I was like, so I'm walking down this big long path from some temple we went to visit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this old woman, and she's got like this kettle, kind of like what we got here.
Kettle
but,
probably
speaking
hasn't
of
been
which,
washed in 15 years. You know what I
It
mean?
probably
No,
probably add to the flavor.
right. We're so good, man.
No, we're sitting good. Anyhow, so she had some dried fish thing, and I ate that, and I didn't like that too much, but I ate it because I knew what it was, and it was like, okay, we eat fish in America too, so
Right.
fish is fish. I mean, but it just wasn't great. And that was so weird in Japan and Korea. You know, here we have beef jerky, there they have fish jerky.
Yeah, I did.
Same idea.
I did eat squid jerky. I bought it at a 7-Eleven. Just same American style 7-Eleven. Same.
Did it say
logo.
7-Eleven?
Yeah, same
Oh.
logo, same everything. But on the shelf,
Was it owned by an American?
I don't know.
Catch the joke?
Yes,
Huh? Thank
yes.
you very much. I will be here all week.
Well, after a night of drinking, 7-Elevens are 24 hours, and in Japan, U.S. dollar went a long way back then. In the early 2000s when I was there, so it was very common to spend about 500 yen on just various snacks and munchies to go back. I'd walk through the gate on the base and just go back to my barracks room. But I remember one time I was like, "Oh, what's this?" Squid jerky. Just plastic bag, just like you would get beef jerky here, but it was squid jerky, and it wasn't too bad actually.
Really?
Really, really salty, of course, but it just wasn't bad.
I like
Maybe because it was dry, that's why it was palatable instead of nasty like yours was.
Well, the squid guts were not salty at all, for one thing. I mean, I don't know what this purplish gray goo that they were in was.
Spinal fluid or something.
Well, it was called innard sauce.
Innard
And I don't know if
sauce.
innard sauce is like just the goo that comes
Well,
out the inside of the squid.
The Japanese language is quite literal, so it probably
Okay.
was innard sauce.
All right. I will tell you this, all right? No offense to our Japanese friends. And, I actually have a Japanese friend, right? But her name is Yoko.
I did, but we've lost contact over the years.
I really like her. She was awesome. She was Timo's therapist. And, we saw eye to eye on many, many issues.
Nice.
And so she's a really cool lady. She's in Japan right now. She's in Tokyo. So no offense to Yoko if she happens to be watching. I doubt she is. But I was definitely on the ship in Alaska. Definitely saw a Japanese guy take a male salmon and milk it. Take his finger, dip it in the salmon semen, and taste it. I was like, yep, that is a little bit beyond where I will go. Wow. I'm
All I can
adventurous, but that is over the moon, baby. That's some crazy stuff there.
Never imagined I would hear a story about a person jacking off a semen or a salmon.
Yes. And tasting the salmon
It
semen.
tasted it.
Salmon semen. Salmon semen. I mean, that's kind of fun
Dude.
to say. Salmon semen. It's scientific.
Most probably like, really, guys? Really?
Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. I spent a short visit in Bangkok. Okay.
Oh, nice.
That ended
Never
up
been there, though. Just
with him
Pattaya
fighting his TL and teammate out front of a sketchy tattoo parlor. Luckily, they were hammered. And I...
sounds about right.
Scroll down a little bit. Come on.
Hey, Bo, I forgot to ask you, what kind of beer do you have today?
And he stole a moped cab.
Oh, man, we're out.
Are you sure you were medically discharged? Stories like that make us doubt.
Bangkok, I've never been to, but I did go to Pattaya Beach and Phuket.
And then he drove it off the pier into the river.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know how much you know about the Navy today, man, but if that had happened today, people would be on the freaking chopping block. They've really cracked down on like alcohol use and things. Ooh, it is a different Navy than what you and I were in.
Let's see. Mine's in a can. Oh, his is in a can.
Yeah. If you said I didn't catch what type of beer he had.
Nope, he just said it's his. So it's a canned beer.
Canned beer.
So that narrows it down.
I know last time you had
Not a lot.
you had Sam Adams.
Adams last time. Last time he had to leave.
Yeah, I like Sam Adams. I always call
Oh, look at that.
I always call it the lager that tastes like an ale.
Coors Banquet.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about
like
that.
like regular Coors, right? Not Coors Light.
Gold can, right? Yeah.
Sweet. My
Yeah.
friend John really likes that.
I like Coors. My uncle Mike drinks Coors, and whenever I'm hanging out, I always drink Coors with him. It's actually pretty good. I don't mind Coors at all.
Regular Coors.
Yep.
To you, sir. Thank you for tuning in again, by the way. You've become our second regular viewer. And the only regular viewer of Drinking Age.
That is true. If you've heard us talk about it before, my nephew tunes in. I think every episode he's tuned in. But he's not 21 yet, so he can't really drink any beer.
In fact, he's the inverse of 21.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
I'd
right.
let him
He'll
drink beer.
get there one day.
And hopefully he'll know all sorts of cool things about beer.
I know, right?
Although I got to admit, I'm kind of with you. I think he logs in and then puts his phone down and goes and does other
Maybe
things.
he goes and plays Minecraft or something.
Yep.
You know.
However, I'm not going to complain. It's not like we talk about kids' topics very much.
No. We try to keep it, rated PG, just in case. But last episode, we failed on that one. I think we went.
Oh man,
we went full on rated R.
We were
by
full on
the end of
R.
that
We
one.
might as well have had boobies out there.
I know, right?
It was not good. Today we're talking about salmon semen.
Yeah, we kind of got close there, huh? But it was
scientific.
But the context was yeah, it was
The
kind of
context
it was, a
was
story,
actually
you know.
kind of revolting, actually.
Oh,
I
right.
don't know, man. I guess.
I had like barely any heat on this thing.
I mean, there was some knucklehead who decided to see that strange thing that dropped out of a chicken's butt and eat it.
Oh,
When you think of an egg that way, think of an egg. Think of an egg.
I know, but
It's like, look at that.
don't destroy the sanctity of eating eggs now, man.
Dude, my kids sell eggs. You were over there. Oh, speaking of which, I need to make an order. My kids sold 4 dozen eggs, and not a single one was ordered on the app.
Oh man,
I know.
you gotta get that URL out there more, I guess.
Well, I got it. I put it like everyone. That's like on Sundays he sells most of his eggs, right?
Oh, so
And I have him
put
put it
them on
on there. It's
Yeah.
like visit Aston Brothers Eggs, and if I catch someone, I'm like, hey, look at this. This is how the app works.
yeah, this will
So-
guarantee your eggs, you know.
Well, and the problem is, a lot of them are sympathy buys.
Oh,
It's not like they don't want eggs, but it's
Right.
just like, oh, here's Timoteo, and we love Timo, and so of course we'll buy his eggs. It's like,
I got you.
some of them, unfortunately, he lost his good customer. The woman who really likes the app, like she's like, yeah, this is a great idea. She's moving to Texas.
Oh no.
It's like, great, freaking great.
We're in Texas, do you know?
Cleveland.
I don't know where that is.
Ever been there?
No.
Me neither.
I'm from El Paso, that's why I was curious, but
I don't think
I
it's
don't know
close
where
to
it is.
there because
Probably
you
not.
probably know.
I would have known if it was close, yeah. So
We're thinking Cleveland, Texas is a little better than Cleveland, Ohio.
maybe.
I don't know.
I have a feeling that Cleveland, Texas is a small town. Like our size small town, kind of, Right? We'll figure it out. Any words from both?
Cheers.
Cheers, hey. Good word. By the way, we have just under about 8.5 minutes left on our steep.
Nice. All right, here we go. Why am I doing this?
Because we're looking up Cleveland, Texas.
Yeah, but I hate web surfing on my phone, and I've got my iPad.
I know you have
right
your pad,
here.
yeah.
And
Temperature check.
I gotta tell you, I am a keyboard regular computer guy. I really am.
No, I got you, man. There is a $270 keyboard I'm thinking about buying.
Whoa!
Yeah. But
Go
it's
ahead and
100
explain that one.
Well, it's 100% programmable. It's the hardware and its design is open source. It's through System 76, the same people I use for my laptop. But you can program each key individually.
Yeah.
And you can really customize it for your workflow, I think. Now, I can't read it. What do you say?
I know. I lived in Fort Worth for a short time when I was a kid. I only remember chiggers.
Yeah. Getting bit. Yep.
Chiggers are not fun.
Yeah, I have some family that are in Fort Worth. Actually, Garland more, but still, I remember visiting them during summertime. When I was a teenager, and yeah.
So apparently, Cleveland is just south of I-69, just north of I-69.
Yeah, I took it there. I have no idea where I-69 is.
Well, it doesn't matter because just north of I-69 is North Cleveland.
No, you don't say.
I don't say. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right, Fostoria. Here we go. You know where Fostoria is?
No clue.
How about Cut and Shoot?
Remember, Texas is like its own country almost. It's huge.
How about Aracasita?
No.
Oh wait, that might be.
If
Mexico.
It's not West Texas, I'm probably not going to be familiar with it.
That might be Mexico. I don't know. No, that's not Mexico.
No, there's a lot of Spanish names in Texas. Sounds like it's close to the Gulf, man.
Well, that's because it is. All right, so there's Houston.
Houston. Okay, now I have general proximity.
So it's north of Houston. So it's out in East Texas.
Okay, so it's going to be humid and hot.
Sounds like a very lousy place to live. No offense to Texans.
I've never stayed in Houston, but I've driven through it, and yeah, no thanks.
Well, I lived down here in Corpus Christi for 3 years, and I was whiter there than I am now, if you can imagine that.
Imagine that, yeah.
I feel like you failed an LNAV course. You be quiet, you. I did great. I was able to backtrack all 4 hours out of SEER school. No, it's just the map.
I was never aircrew. I never went to SEER. I was just a mechanic, so I can't relate to those comments.
I have to admit. Okay, so hunting story time.
Hunting story.
I am actually. It's not so much hunting story, but I am kind of notorious for like. My dad says go that way, and I go that way, and then I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at.
Right.
I just kind of look around. I'll be on a ridge somewhere. It's like I could guess. I know that the highway is that way, but it could be 50 miles that way. That's a lot of walking.
True.
And I end up like definitely following
Zigzagging.
my footsteps back to where it's like
I got back.
I'm really bad. I mean, if I was well, the
with
problem is that I'm not careful when I walk because I'm so unafraid of like spending the night in the woods. Like that completely doesn't even faze me. It's like, what happened? I had to sleep in the woods. Why? Because
I got lost.
It got dark.
I lost my bearing.
I have walked through the woods in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it is. Yeah, it is an interesting experience. So, I will tell you a hunting story. So, yeah, and I've told you this before, but for Bo's gratification and anyone else who might be watching on the replay. So I got that elk all those years ago.
The mythical elk.
It's not, well, at that point I thought they were mythical. I was just like, these things
I remember you
don't
saying
exist.
that. It was a joke.
Yeah, just the elk don't exist. All these people go buy these heads from the store and then they drive around in their pickup trucks.
They order them from Amazon.
They
Come
do.
on.
I mean, I was like, these animals, they're like elk and unicorns. They're the same thing. Well, anyways, I got that
You
one.
finally got your elk, yeah.
Right? So the first night, I called my friend Brandon to help me. And he came up. Well, actually, the first day I tried to get it out myself. And I almost died. Like, literally almost died. Like, I came up. I was like hypothermic, shivering. I was walking along. This is how dumb I was, right? I mean, my brain was shutting down. So I get up to this, where we were hunting. Where we're hunting, let's imagine the side of a hill.
Okay.
All right.
Pretty steep.
It's
Yeah.
big, long ridge,
Right.
right? And there's like little finger ridges that come off of it. But there's a main ridge, and then there's a road at the bottom.
Okay.
Big ridge at the top, road at the bottom, and in the middle, there's like a logging road that goes out like 5 or 6 miles in dead ends, right? So I'm on one of these finger ridges, and I had told my dad for years. I was like, Dad, the elk are in those in-betweens. You know, we keep going up this main path, and then we go up here, and we go up here, and we always see their tracks going off the side. They're not hanging where we're walking. We got to get off and down into that crap,
Right.
and that's where we'll find them. So I was hunting by myself, because my dad had to work because he's a school teacher and it was the middle of the week. And I'm like, I'm going into those in-betweens. And sure enough, there's a 5-point bull elk. And so I shot it. It was great. 1 shot, 1 kill, man. He didn't even move.
Oh, nice.
Like he was standing there, he looked down the hill, and I just like took 3 breaths. I was like, and he just went straight down. Didn't even move.
Just out of curiosity, what caliber weapon?
270.
270. Okay.
Remington 270. So 130 grain bullet. So anyhow, so I dropped him, right? Went down, gutted him. That's all fine. And then, like an idiot, thought I could drag him down the hill, but
Well, heavier than you thought, huh?
oh no, dragging down the hill wasn't the hard part.
Going back up, right?
Nope, not even that.
Oh,
The
okay.
problem is I could have gone all the way down to my truck because I was parked at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
No, the problem was that the draw that I was in was just filled with crap because they never let forest fires happen. And so it's just,
Growth, huh? Yeah.
well, it's deadfall,
Deadfall,
that
yep.
is never cleaned out. Back in the day, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the forest fires would go through there and they would clean that stuff out. And yes, there was a forest fire, but it was nothing like what you see in California now.
Oh, right.
I mean, so you remember when Trump caught all that guff because he said they clean out the forest. And granted, the whole concept of people with rakes in the national forest is idiotic, but
Yeah.
it is a true statement. And I've talked with real firefighters on this, people who are in the firefighting industry. And they say, yeah, there's a big problem is that for decades, and we're talking like 1930s,
Okay.
decades, right? The National Forest Service, they had the Smokey the Bear program, right? And I mean, it is old. It's older than the 70s.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. You go
I don't know
back
if
up.
it's all the way to the 30s, but it's a long time ago.
I don't know for sure, but I'd say the 50s. I think is when smoking
At
started.
least the 50s.
Yeah.
But the point is it was only you can stop forest fires, right? And the policy was put them all out. Every single one.
Right.
Forest fire starts, we put it out. The problem is that forest fires are a natural occurrence, right? Now, granted, some idiot flips a cigarette butt in the ditch and catches 20 on fire, which happened the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. That's different than
Yeah,
a
you
lightning
put that
strike or
out.
something, a lightning strike or something, you know.
Right. And I mean, there's several things that have made life more complex. Number one, people are building in the middle of the forest now. You know, they're building like multi-million-dollar homes or like these small communities, which is, by the way, I don't understand this. Why would you live in one of those communities? Oh, it's time.
All right. Steeping is done.
We will return to this story in a minute.
Do our quick pseudo sparging.
Pseudo-sparge. It's kind of cool. It's like some... I am obviously not an anything belt.
That's okay.
I just
You're
make
up.
my hands.
You like a.
I actually know some martial arts. I took martial arts off and on when I was a kid because I thought it was cool.
I was trying to think of a way to like belt beer brewing or something. I don't know.
I don't think you get belts. You get
Yeah.
pints. So first, you're a 4-ounce glass. What's that? First, you're a snifter.
You're a snifter.
I think black belt would be Stein.
Big pewter top stein.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, Bo was saying they used to put everything out. You are right. They have changed that. They have more of a let burn policy. But the problem is that even though they have that now, everything has gotten so. I mean, there's so much fuel in the woods
Right.
that when they let it burn, boy, does it burn. I mean, it goes.
All right. Your chickens are going to be happy. There's still 2 socks over there.
Be quiet. My chickens will be happy. This one's getting fed to the chickens. Let's see. We are up to the add all the extracts portion.
Yeah.
Should we just turn this off, you think?
It is like the tiniest little blue flame.
I don't think we need to worry about scorching then, do
Nah.
you?
Nope.
All right, let me go get the.
We'll whirlpool it.
Ouch! Oh, let me go get the extracts while you talk to Bo.
All right. I guess I can add the sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a knife. All right. I guess I'm not going to add the sugar unless I can get this open without making a mess. Yeah. Easier than I thought. All right. Yeah, this one's made with pure corn sugar, which is interesting to me. Because usually we don't have pure corn sugar in our brews.
We need a ladle too.
Ladle, ladle.
Ladle, ladle, ladle. There's those. Ladle.
If you dissolve. What do we have this time? Remember earlier in the brew, we were talking about where the distinction is for wort. They're calling this wort in here.
Concentrated brewer's wort.
I just would always see this as malt extract. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You don't have a knife?
I didn't have a knife on me. No, I was like, oh, I need a knife.
I have 2 knives.
I have knives. I just don't ever carry them for some reason.
Why don't you? I can't.
I don't know.
How do you survive?
Luck.
Okay.
No, you're right. I should carry a pocket knife again. I just don't think about it.
That thing is kind of being a pain, isn't it?
Probably because I work in aviation and the FOD thing, stuff
Well,
in your pocket,
there's a good point. Don't keep anything in your pockets ever. Yada yada yada.
All right, let me just. All right, you want to be the stirry guy?
Yeah,
or
I'll
you?
stir. Go for it.
All right, you whirlpool, I'll pour.
All right, Bavarian wheat concentrated wort. All right.
Some kind of chunky piece you want in there.
It's okay.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. You don't have a knife.
That ain't a knife. This is a knife.
You're getting heckled.
I know.
You are getting heckled. All right, that's probably good.
That's okay. I can take a good heckling.
Scrape the edge of it.
It's all fun. All right, let me ladle that since you're
That way.
You're Mr. Whirlpool guy.
Well, yeah, we discovered when the other person ladled, the person who holds the jar usually gets burned.
The ladler had bad aim.
You know, the ladler was always you. Just saying.
Quiet you.
I'm just saying that I've sacrificed more for this show than you have at this point. What's wort? All right, is that a serious question, or are you giving us a hard time? And that's a serious question, by the way. You know what? Let's assume it's a serious question.
Go ahead.
All right, so wort is basically, it is the mixture of grain extracts and specialty grain. They're all extracts, but it's basically grain tea.
Short answer, unfermented beer, actually.
Right, unfermented beer. Thank you. So the wort has all of your sugars and all your waters in it, and it has all of your starches and your sugars that are sucked out of the barley and out of the wheat and out of the hops and out of whatever other kind of grains you used. And so it's beer, but it's beer before we add the yeast. That is what wort is. That's a big floaty.
Yeah.
Like,
something came out of that last bottle, or this last jar, I mean. I don't know if it was just a big chunk of...
we're going to boil it. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what wort is. And we were talking about all grain brewing. Maybe you missed that part. In all grain brewing, what they start with is, well, generally it's barleys, right?
Yeah, in all grain brewing, you make your own malts. These are our malts already made here, and they're just partially dehydrated. That's why it's kind of syrupy.
And how they make a malt is they partially germinate the seeds, the actual grain seeds.
Yep.
And then, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, through controlled temperature and moisture, they germinate the barley.
Okay, tip it up. Tip it up.
And then it produces starches.
Just saw that.
Sorry, we'll answer your question. We're just trying to figure out what that floaty thing is in there.
It almost.
There it is. I saw it.
Hold on, folks. We're hunting a floaty. Missed it. Oh wait, you got it. You got it. What is that? I don't know, but it's gone now. Kind of slimy looking.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that's in this beer.
Me too. All right, here you go, sir.
Yeah, we got a floater. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the yeast doesn't activate the alcohol. The yeast produces the alcohol. You could think of alcohol as yeast piss.
Literally, it is a byproduct of yeast eating the sugars that are produced by when you mash. The mashing process is you don't boil, but you heat up your grains, and the starches in those grains convert to sugars. Well, the yeast is what eats those sugars, and then the byproduct, literally piss, is alcohol.
It's yeast piss.
And carbon dioxide too. They produce carbon dioxide.
Yeast farts.
So,
and also, there are some other things, some phenols, they call them phenols and esters, that impact the flavor of the beer. The different phenols and esters. So yeast does not only produce alcohol, but it also changes the flavor of the beer. Right. Which is why different beers will use different yeast. For example, this time around we're using a 3711, which is just a number that Y yeast. Y yeast is a company.
It's a company.
Yeah, they're a company. 3711 French Saison beer, Saison yeast. But they have different kinds of yeast out there. We've used a 1026. What was that?
Just ale yeast, English ale yeast.
Yeah, English ale yeast.
Right, I'm gonna go rinse my hands because I'm sticky.
Better you than me, babe.
Where's the hops? Because we're gonna have to probably.
The hops are in the fridge.
Okay. Once we get
right underneath the eggs.
Okay.
Isn't that where you would keep hops? Under the eggs?
Of course.
So anyhow, the yeast does not activate the alcohol, it produces the alcohol. That is what makes your alcohol. And then different strains of yeast actually can tolerate higher levels of alcohol. So in here, what will happen, we usually don't put this part on the camera, but after we're done with the boil, we cool this down, and then we throw it in a big glass bottle, which actually we have a big glass bottle floating around, so we can show you that. In fact, we will. Hey, go grab a carboy, random carboy, doesn't matter, one of the empty ones. There should be one somewhere in there. I'll show you the big glass bottle. That'll work. Needs to be washed, but, well, actually, it's not too bad. It's just got condensation. All right, big glass bottle. It does have condensation all over it. And some sort of little hanger-offer down there on the bottom.
That's all right.
In any case, so that's a carboy. So you pour this liquid that we're making into that thing, cool it down. French yeast. So it's a yeast that surrenders. Yes, we're making surrender beer.
Surrender?
Surrender beer. You know, someday the Northwest Brewmeisters, that's us, are going to make a Saison, and we'll just call it surrender beer. And all of France will be offended, and we won't apologize.
Why would we apologize?
We don't apologize. As we were just discussing this. Don't apologize. Yes, BFGB. Big, family-friendly show, glass bottle. Don't worry, we'll slip up and we'll swear, I'm sure.
I'm sure I'll be the first one to slip. It's
It'll be
usually
Steve
me.
today. It'll be Steve today.
After about the fourth beer, yeah.
So anyhow, you throw it in the BFGB, and
you know that's gonna become official now, right, Bo?
Yes, BFGB. Carboy is no longer a term. It's BFGB. Wow, that's really dusty.
Yeah, you might want to rinse that sometime. No.
Well, it's just the inside. I got
know.
it covered. I mean, it's just the outside.
I'm giving it crap. Did we finish answering this question about?
No, now we're talking about alcohol and yeast.
Oh, okay.
So we're still going. We're still going.
Gotcha.
So when you throw it in there, anything over 80 degrees will kill the yeast. So that's why we do the wort chilling. And you've heard us talk about wort chilling and cooling the wort after we're done boiling it. So you get it in there about 70 degrees. We usually chill it down to about 70 degrees. And you put the yeast in there, and the yeast starts to eat the sugars. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it is propagating, dividing and multiplying.
More and more
billions. billions.
Oh, billions. Yeah, it's
In fact,
it's
there's
crazy
like-
actually.
There's like 1 billion cells in a smack pack.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you
okay.
start with 1 billion cells. Our cells are very small.
Oh yeah,
Did you know that?
I did that. I did know they were small.
There's lots of cells here. Like cells. There's billions of cells right there. It's fascinating stuff. Particularly
Microbiology.
when you're not acting like a 4-year-old. In any case, the point being, you pour the yeast in, they start to propagate more and more yeast, and they produce alcohol as they grow. At a certain point, the alcohol level becomes too much for the yeast, and they actually die off.
Right. This
They can't tolerate that. Different strains of yeast can tolerate higher levels of alcohol. So if you ever grab a beer off the shelf and it says something like 9% or 8% or 10%, that was made with a strain of yeast that could really handle it.
Probably a lot of yeast too.
By the way, whiskey is not made the same way.
Right.
The way it gets its high alcohol content is by getting rid of the water.
Well, yeah, it's distilled.
That's what
Yeah.
the distilling process is. So,
Evaporate it and then.
so yeah, your whiskeys and all that are a little bit different. But
But
Right.
you know, but
You done with
interestingly though, the first
Keep
stages of whiskey is similar to what we're doing here.
well, yeah, it
still
is.
gotta
You
ma-
actually,
you gotta mash your grains.
yeah,
that's
you make
why-
wort.
Right, you make wort. That's why you see things like sour mash on Jack Daniels or whatever it is. You know, similar process up to a certain point. I'm not a whiskey person, so I really don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know the initial stages are very similar to what we do here. I'm gonna switch sides that way. Oh, never mind, he's back. 'Cause I can't, from this angle, I can't see if you typed anything, so
No, let me check.
I wasn't sure if you.
Nope,
Okay.
still on the big family-friendly glass bottle.
Until we're off camera.
We're off
And then it's gonna have another name.
Yes, we
Probably
will
the
know
name
what
you intended there, bro.
we will know what you said.
Actually, he did say something else. That's crazy that the yeast produce the alcohol. Yeah, I know, right? There's like they're sacrificing themselves. We will make this alcohol and then we will die for you.
You know what? I love yeast even more for that.
But all of them don't actually die. Some of them become dormant, and you could actually reactivate them if you needed to. That's where you start hearing terms about gravities, final gravity, original gravity. That's how you determine your alcohol level. Let's say if you're like not following a recipe, but you're designing your own beer, you would measure your specific gravity with a tool called a hydrometer. And let's say it wasn't quite where you were hoping it would be. You can wake those yeast up a little bit because not all of them are going to be dead. Some of them will actually survive. Enough will survive that they can propagate some more. You can actually adjust your alcohol content. Now you can't lower it. I guess you could. I guess you could add water to lower it.
If you wanted to dilute it, that's
Yeah,
all you do.
If it was too high, you could actually lower it down. But in most cases, people want a higher alcohol content. So you probably throw extra sugar in there to kind of wake them up because they'll consume those sugars. And
But
then it'll produce
again,
more alcohol.
The thing is it's like that whole we were talking about the mixing of sound.
Oh, right.
And like you've got a guitar, a vocalist, a drum set, and a piano. You adjust the piano. It doesn't just make the piano louder. It also changes because the piano will take the place of the vocalist
Sure,
at certain points. It'll actually bring out the guitar
And
more.
certain frequencies will get drowned out by the piano,
Yeah.
depending on what
So-
you're doing.
So you could turn up the piano and actually hear more guitar because of the way everything mixes
Right.
together and all the relationships, which I don't understand them by any means, but it's the same way with that, right? It's like, oh, I want it to be a higher alcohol beer, so you add a little more corn sugar, but then it also produces more esters and more phenols,
Right.
and
It's
so
a
that
balancing
changes
act.
all the other flavors, and it's like, well, I got more alcohol, but then the flavor that I was wanting is not gone. We could just move that. Otherwise, I'm going to trip over it.
Oh, right. You know what's cool is this one didn't foam up too much.
That's nice. Let's try not and boil it over.
Yeah. That's why I'm monitoring the intensity of the heat so that we can catch a little bit better.
Never too much alcohol. God bless yeast and never too much alcohol. I don't know, man. I you know what, Bo? Love you because you're like our loyal viewer. But I like the flavor of beer. Wouldn't you agree? I think that's one of the reasons
Yeah,
we like beer.
We understand what you're saying, but all jokes aside, though, beer that's made with too much alcohol content actually it ruins the flavor. If you take a drink and you actually taste like the alcohol, it kind of defeats the purpose of the beer. That's why when I see super high ABV beers on the shelf, They probably have brewed a certain way where there's enough of another ingredient in there that kind of masks that alcohol flavor. You know, one place I had, it was a little microbrewery in a small town where my aunt lives in New Mexico, and their beer was called like the Diablo or something, you know, and it was touting like a 9%. I've had 9% beers before, but this one they didn't do it right because you could taste the alcohol and it was not an enjoyable beer. You know, Voodoo Ranger makes an Imperial IPA that's like 9.2%. Good stuff. You don't taste the alcohol, and it really does the job. So,
well, there was that one that we tasted that actually wasn't too bad, but I don't know. I don't do hard liquor very often, as in like once every 3 years if someone guilts me into doing a shot of their special liquor. Right. I get Pasca. Oh, my goodness.
But you're right, though. The more alcohol, the better. For fun.
But the way you do it, you drink more beer.
Or you make the beer the right way. Like I know...
and then you drink more of it.
If you're familiar with Dogfish Head, they have a couple lines of beer that are super high. One's called a 90-minute IPA, which is, I want to say, a 9 or 9.1%. And they also have one they call 120-minute IPA, which is like it's over 10% alcohol, or 10%, ABV. So.
He says the flavor is important.
Yeah.
I love the taste of beer. We love the taste of beer, too. He said when he was 5, his dad gave him a sip of beer, and he's been told that he wouldn't give it back.
And that's where it all started.
Your father was a good man. Actually, we don't know that, but...
Fun, jokingly, though, or not jokingly, but interestingly, though, I didn't like beer back in the day. It took a while for me to acquire a taste for beer.
You know,
as I was younger, you know.
I think I liked beer forever. I never thought it was gross, but it's because of that. Because the same deal as Bo. You know, my dad had let me sip beer.
Right.
Apparently, the first time I was drunk, I was 3 because I was wandering at some sort of party.
Oh, jeez.
And everybody was like, "Oh, it's cute. He wants a sip," and they'd give me a sip. Well, after you've hit 15 people and you're 3,
kind of feel it.
Yep. It's like, why is there this little drunk 3-year-old wandering around your house? Now, I don't know if that story's true or not, but it's a good story. But seriously, I don't remember a time of not liking beer. Like it wasn't so like for example, like I'm a coffee addict too. Coffee was an acquired taste for me. When I started drinking coffee, it was like lots of cream, lots of sugar. It was practically a dessert thing. And now I've gotten to the point where I just like black coffee.
Yeah, that's me. I drink black coffee when I do.
We might be related. My brother Bo.
Well, you know, so I had a similar experience. You know, my dad was my first one to give me a taste of beer when I was younger. But the earliest memories I have of tasting my dad's beer were Moosehead, the Canadian beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm familiar.
I think it's a lager. And for whatever reason, maybe he had a bad batch. I don't know. I just didn't like the taste of it. And then as I got older, then I got a stepdad later in life, and he drank Coors Banquet, and he would give me beers. And it was just, at the time, I was just kind of like, I don't think I like this, you know. It wasn't until I was in the Navy after a while, and then I just kind of developed a taste for beer, you know. But it was not, you know, fancy beers like we do now. I didn't get that taste until I was in Japan, actually. The guy Greg was the one that got Greg Simo was the guy that got me into it.
I don't think you don't have a knife. No. Go ahead, type it again. You don't have a knife.
I don't have a knife. Oh no, I suck again.
Connect you. I don't know how. Be careful with that one. I don't know how sharp it is. It gets used for everything. Actually,
Right.
Both my knives get used for everything.
On it.
Probably just rabbit guts. It'll be okay. Yeah, it's not super sharp. It's sharp enough to do that.
It did the job.
I got it. You just hand it back.
I just want to get our house ready because we're getting some activity in there. So
His dad was Army, so he's pretty sure it was Budweiser.
actually, mine was too.
Steve's dad was Army.
Yeah, my dad retired in 1990, I think. 90 or 91, he retired.
But anyhow, yeah. Let's be honest, Steve. The first beers you drank were not for flavor.
No.
You've told me stories about your early Navy life.
Oh, it was all about as much beer as I can drink in the shortest amount of time.
Right, drink more beer.
You know? My airman days, oh yeah, brr. That's all it was, man.
What is it? I don't know.
It's beer.
Why does it smell Schlitz? This is the greatest beer ever. No, it's the cheapest beer
Because
ever.
it was only $8 for a 24 case at the mini mart on the base. Back in the 90s, you know.
Oh, man. Yeah, there have been some cheap. Although you've never drank cheap beer until you've drank beer.
Oh, today I saw.
Did you see? Have you ever seen black and white label beer?
Today when I was at SARS getting beer for tonight, it's labeled pub beer, and that's it, just pub beer.
Is there any like brewery or anything, or is it just
I
black
didn't look
and
that
white?
hard. I just noticed it and kind of snickered because I'd seen that generic beer before, you know.
When we were young, we went through a rough patch. When I was a kid, we went through a rough patch, and I don't know about now, but back then it was called generic food. It was generic, right? Literally, the packages were white,
Basic, huh?
with black lettering, and it just said what it was: peas, corn, green beans, beer. You get cigarettes. That's it. It's like, I don't know who made this stuff. Probably the government.
Probably.
But yeah. Oh, his dad retired in 65.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Woo! World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Yeah, you know, that's the problem. There's a lot of military folks that are great military folks and not such great parents. And it's a choice, you know.
Right.
Like my military career, I was all right, but I was not an amazing sailor. But I made decisions that were family centric, and that impacted my career. I mean, that's the way it goes. I'm good with that, though. I enjoyed my time in.
Yeah, me too.
Looking back. Why am I lying to him? I hated being in, but now that I'm out, I'd like to be back in.
I know, it's one of those weird things. You're like,
I only remember the good stuff, but there was a lot of bad stuff.
there's a lot of BS in between the good things, you know.
I remember once I was just so pissed. There's some stupid BS that went down at the morning maintenance meeting, and I was walking down the hall. I was like, I am out, done. The command master chief overheard me. AM1,
Come here.
you need to come in here. He was an amazing master chief. He's like, I appreciate that you're having a bad day, but you probably should, like, literally, he said it this way. Instead of just tearing my head off, he's like, you probably shouldn't vent that loudly in the passageway.
Everybody can see you.
Yes. I mean, I was so angry.
So,
All right, what do we got?
Actually, I have a question for you after we read your comment.
Said, the week after my discharge, I was married and had a kid on the way. Put the teams in my rear view.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know, especially with
That's what
those
you gotta
guys.
do, yeah.
So we don't know anything about special forces. I mean, we know Hollywood. I have one friend who was a ranger, so I know a little bit about the stories. And he was literally, you know, Tony. So my friend who was a ranger, literally, he was one of those get a phone call and
Like,
pack a bag and just told his wife, I got to go. And she's like, where are you going? He's like, I just got to go.
Yep.
You know, he was literally one of those. But beyond that, you know, we were not special forces, either one of us.
We're both aviation side, so.
But I can see how being in one of those special forces units is not conducive. You need a hell of a strong wife. That's what I think we're at PG now. There we go. But you need a strong wife, you know. And they exist. You know, my wife's pretty strong. You know how I really knew my wife was steel? It was like, it wasn't coming back from deployment, but it was a 6-week debt, right? I call, hey, I'm coming home. She's like, can I just leave the car at the hangar and you just make it go on your own?
All right.
Sure, babe.
Good.
Yep, I got it. You just leave the.
Yeah, you do enough deployments. They just kind of get used to it and they figure it out, you know.
Well, yeah, and if you made it home, you know, all fingers, all toes, I'm coming home. It's like, cool, we'll see you at the house.
Right.
You know, the whole bit of homecoming thing. Because, you know, the thing is, they always set up those. So I don't know about the Army. Well, he was Navy, though. So you know the Navy. But they would always set up those big homecoming. And it's like all this big hoopla. And people like, bam, and gone.
Yeah.
Boom. It's like, we had sandwiches. I grabbed one on my way past.
I had one. Now, Bo, what I wanted to ask you, and I might have asked this before. I don't remember. What was your source rate? Because I don't know if you know this or not, but now with SEALs, they actually have their own rate. SO, like you could be like a second class petty officer, you'd be an SO2 for special operator. I know back in the day, you whatever your rate was, you would apply and you can get accepted. But yeah, you actually have your special force. I think SWIC does the same thing. I think SWIC has their own rate too, and it's
well, aircrew does.
Aircrew. Yeah.
So when I was an air crewman, I was an airframer who flew.
Right.
So I was an air crewman. I was technically an airframer first.
Right.
And then I was an air crewman.
Now they're all AWs, and then there's another letter. There's another letter. Like an AWF would have been like an airframer who went aircrew.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now an AWV, I think, is like avionics types for the aircrew.
Sure, that makes sense.
Now it was with NSW. Now, like I said, you become a special operator, and your rating is SO if you're enlisted. You're SO1, SO2, whatever the kind. SOC if you're a chief. I was just curious what your source rate was. Before you went into the front of the buds.
So was your wife? So answer the foreign.
What's that?
Answer the source rate question first, and then. Well, he's got another. He said his wife's dad history almost got his security clearance revoked.
Oh shit. Okay. Whoop.
When they got engaged.
PG. I dropped an S-bomb.
We knew it was coming.
We're still PG though. We're still PG.
So basically, we're family friendly up to about the 1.5 hour mark, and
Right.
after that, you should probably send your kids away.
I think we're about to reach that boiling point.
Pretty close. How you doing over there?
Heat down. Can't see the fire as well this time.
Just
I have about a swallow left. So, challenge accepted.
challenge. All right, I'm gonna go. What do you want?
That's whatever's on top of the.
One of the hoppy pack stuff.
Yeah. Still happy.
All right, I'll be back. And then
Yeah, I'll watch for his comments to see if he said anything.
ask the comment about was your wife's dad like foreign or maybe made some mistakes?
Yeah, I know it gets crazy with clearance, man. And if you're not allowed to talk about it or don't prefer to talk about it, it's cool, man. No problem, It's like right on the cusp of that boil. We're not trying to get that aggressive boil, but we just want a nice roller. But it's like it's trying. Of course, every time I stir it, I dissipate the heat. So come on now. What do we have this time?
Storm Surge Hazy. I'll let you
Storm Surge.
I'll let you hold the can up and I'll tell you whether to rotate it or not.
Okay. There we go. This is our next one, Bo. And Chase. Chase, are you still with us? Kind of forgot about Chase there, man.
Well, Chase hasn't commented in
That's
quite
true.
a while.
That's true.
He very well could have failed. Tier 1, 2, then Aspunch Boat Crew. NSW started in 87. He was in Buds in 89.
Right.
E4 recommended by command. Naval Special Warfare Operator designated SEAL Team 3. So you weren't like an OS or
So you didn't convert then? Like I know a lot of guys they convert from whatever they originally joined as.
so bad. I have no surface rates. ET, there's a surface rate.
AT,
HBM,
HMs,
HMs,
machinist mates,
NMs.
Yeah.
We are such
I know.
Airedales.
We're so aviation. That's not even funny, dude.
It's like, what are the rates on the boat?
Well, you have RMs. We used to have RMs, not ITs. I took like RM, DS, DP,
Well, Radioman.
and they put them all into the IT rating now.
Oh yeah.
So, well, maybe. I know they with the computer folks who did that. Maybe the Radioman is still its own rate.
Can the ITs actually do anything yet?
I know they do on the ship. They actually do.
Well, on the ship, I remember.
But out here, no, it's contracted to somebody.
But I got to tell you, I know of at least 3 ITs that were like crackerjacks. I was like, these are hot sailors in their rate. Like they're good, and they're all like, I am out. Why? It's like because I don't like being a person who calls a 1-800 number. What's my job? I call a 1-800 number. I don't
I'm
like
not
doing
solving problems.
It's like I'm gonna go out in the real world and actually be an IT. It'll be for a civilian company.
Right. No, that's smart because the Navy, depending what kind of NEC you have in the IT world, you can be like a specialist, like a network specialist or a cybersecurity specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's NEC driven. Like they send like the cybersecurity ITs, the enlisted guys, and even the officers in what's called the IP community, they send them to school. I mean, top grade schools for that.
I just remember there was 3 of them that bailed just because they were so sick of all they could, whatever the civilian contractor at the time, who was it?
NMCI. It's still an MCI.
It's still an MCI. Jeez.
Yeah, I just had to speak to them not too long ago. So
SO1 wasn't a rank when I was in. Back then, most people were recommended by command or former SEALs.
Right.
Got it.
yeah, like I said, now it's actually its own rating now, for special operator. That's
Just
kind of
like
recent.
aircrew.
Kind of recent, like I'm going to say 10 years recent because I don't quite know when they went to that new system.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because that's about how long ago. Maybe a little.
Maybe not quite as long.
It was like mid 2000s. The aircrew, it was AW,
Right.
and a lot of folks decided not to be aircrew, and they went with their rate. They wanted to be.
Okay.
It's like, no, I'm not an aircrewman. I'm a metalsmith who flies, and if you're
flies,
gonna make
yeah.
me change, I'm gonna go be a metalsmith, or
Right.
I'm gonna be an AT or whatever.
I think the original AW rating, which was the aviation warfare, electronic warfare,
Mm-hmm.
I believe they converted all of them to AT. And
Really?
Then, and then they kept the AW rating for the flyers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys were the original AWs. I mean, that's all they did. It's like they just ran machines. They couldn't fix their own airplane.
Right.
Which, of course, for a lot of your grunt crewmen, like your C-130 crewmen, your load masters, all your helicopter crewmen, if you came along and you were like a P3 crewman, it's like, I'm an AW, they're like, I thought you said you were a crewman. It's like, we're at a bar, it's like, hey guys, it's like, your part of the bar is over there, buddy. There's nobody over there. Exactly. Go over there.
Thought you said you were a crewman.
It's a lot different now. They have training requirements to get through before buds. In my day, it was, good luck. Hope you don't die.
Yeah, the only one I know for sure is the PT requirement. I remember looking it up one time just to see what it was. And I mean, it's pretty intense compared to regular Navy PT, But, I don't remember what the numbers were, but you had to do lots of push-ups, lots of sit-ups, and run in a very short amount of time, you know what I mean? So, and that was just the initial, screening before you can even really fully, it was part of your application process,
Which you should be.
And
I mean,
that just got your foot in the door. If you pass that and then you got accepted to a BUDS class, yeah, then that's obviously, as you all know, that's where the real screening went on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then you got the washout process, which is another thing that should happen. That really should happen.
It's important that happens, yeah.
Because you want them to be the of the best.
That's of the best,
You got to
yeah.
be the top.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can only imagine the situations these men are put through, and you've got to have the physical, the mental, you got to be there, dude.
Well, yeah, it's that's no joke. That's no joke. I have no concept.
Yeah, exactly. I just know what Hollywood tells us, obviously.
I mean, the closest I went through was SEER school, and it was nothing like G.I. Jane. Nothing like G.I. Jane.
You really went there. That's funny.
I'm sorry. That's what the civilians know.
I know.
SEER school.
The rest of the civilians know G.I. Jane. Oh, yeah, that must be how it really is.
It's like none of that stuff happened. Although we did lose a girl in a snowbank.
Huh. Is it that tall or something? Or
She took her snowshoes off.
Oh.
I forget why, but she did. And then she disappeared.
So is SEER always in Maine? Is it always where they do it, or?
No, it's not the only SEER. There's
Okay.
also a desert SEER, actually.
Oh, wow.
But it's really not. It's not about the environment. It's
No,
about the whole survival,
right.
evasion,
yeah.
resistance, and escape.
Right.
And it's one of those things where you're supposed to, almost washed out when he fell asleep and drowned a little on a swim during Hell Week.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I hate it when I drown a little.
Yeah, don't do that. We don't want anybody to drown.
So something strange about me. I hate the water. Hate it. My idea of deep water is anything over my ankles.
I don't know about yours. Jet flying over if you can't tell. Thank you, Air Base near us.
It's all right though, man.
Wait a
The
minute.
Navy guys
That's my
talking
job.
with the Navy guy. Sound of freedom going past. We're
Right.
good. We don't complain too much.
But it's Sunday.
Pacific Ocean tastes like shit. Yeah, so does the Indian Ocean, by the way. I've been in that.
Is that where you do the swim call?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So even though I hate deep water, I mean, there's no joke, man. If you get a chance to jump off a United States aircraft carrier
You do
in the
it,
middle
right.
of the Indian Ocean, you jump off the United States. You do it because it's like you're never. My dad will never get to say that he swam in the Indian Ocean, in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
Right.
None of my civilian friends will get to say that. With people with rifles looking for sharks that I don't know if they were there or not, but I'm glad they weren't.
Right.
I mean, I didn't get bit, so I'm happy about that.
It seems to be taking an extra long time to reach that boiler, man.
It does seem like
I boosted the heat a little bit. I just brought the heat down, that way we don't get a boil over, you know?
I got you. Well, let's just keep. Only one person talked to Bo at a time.
I know,
I
right?
talked and you talked, and I talked and you talked. Yeah, it was, and of course I was just an aircraft maintainer at the time, but we were in the middle of the ocean. They're like, we're going to do a swim call. And like I was beginning to say, I hate deep water. And my definition of deep is anything over my ankles. I'm just not a water person. And yes, I joined the Navy because it's weird, man. I do not like the water, but I definitely like ships.
Yeah, that ship wasn't bad. It might be on.
Yeah, I like being out to sea. Like when I was up in Alaska, that was fantastic.
All right, here we go, buddy.
Oh, are we boiling?
We're about to.
Oh, we're moving. All right, so let me start.
I'm gonna go real slow with the.
Yeah, do 1 or 2 pellets because this has the potential.
Yeah.
All right, we got to concentrate.
We will hold that thought, brother. We'll be right back.
We're a little bit notorious for boiling our beer over, which is not a good thing.
Probably take that a little bit. That's the other way.
We'll just let it roll for now. I think we got it under control. We're doing good.
Oh yeah.
Doing good. No beer all over the place.
No sticky pot.
It's amazing how sticky that is.
Carefully and slowly.
Oh, we're getting boiling in the middle. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could probably trim it a little.
Trimming it down.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Throw it in there. I think we're good.
All right.
Sweet. First hops added.
Once our rolling starts, I'll hit the timer.
And then we'll boil for an hour. How are we doing here? Don't go crazy. All right, we got bubbles in the middle.
Just trying.
No, it's boiling. It's going to get crazy. You might want to trim it. Trim it. Trim it. Trim it. Trim it. Trim it.
It's very trimmed, man. There's like barely any flame, dude.
Nothing we can do. All right, let's just see what happens.
Because you whirlpooled it. Everything got concentrated in the middle.
Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Two miles in under 14:30. Yeah, you know how I do that? I get in my car.
All right, you know what? I'm going to start the timer.
Yeah, start the timer. I mean, let's see if we can trim it down to a rolling boil at some point.
I think once it stops swirling, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Well, we got to keep an eye on it though, because
Yeah.
the potential for coming up and over the edge is there. Okay. We're getting there. It's definitely moving in there. Oh, man. Bo, don't get old. I'm telling you, don't get old. Wait, he's older than us, isn't he?
Maybe. Probably a couple of years. I mean, he went in the Navy in
89?
Yeah.
89, right? That's when you joined? Or that's when you went to Buds. I think you went to Buds in 89. You might have joined earlier than that. 54, too late. Okay.
We're
That's all right.
not too far behind you, man. I'm 45. so-
47, so we're all right. All right, we're doing good. You know, I never finished my elk story,
No, you didn't. That's right, because we got focused on the beer.
which is
All
good.
right, back to the elk
That's
story.
what we're supposed to do.
I know, right?
All right, so we're shifting gears, like grinding gears. Oh, he called us puppies.
Puppies.
Can we block people on this? Is there a way to block people? Ow! Oh! I threw my back out Monday. That's why I'm moaning and groaning and whining about life. No, so
He was a kicked puppy.
kicked puppy, right? I don't even know why we were. But we were on. Look how far the camera's moved.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the wind's got it.
Yeah.
I can tilt it real quick.
Or we could
I'll just bring it over to you.
tilt it a little. Tilt it a little. Okay, wait. A little bit more. There we go. That's perfect.
All right.
So we were talking about, that's how we got on the whole fire,
Fight the fires and
and the fact that for the longest time they put them all out, and now they have. Bo mentioned, and he's right, that are y'all under attack? No, they're just training. They're just training. The base is right here. They're just bouncing. Anyhow, and he mentioned that now they have a let burn policy if
Right.
they can. But one of the difficulties is that, particularly down in California, where there's a lot of money, people have built out into the forests. And it's like, do you let it burn, or do you take out their houses, or do you save them? What do you do? You know, there's not a lot of options. You know, I mean, me personally, it's like, okay, so you're a knucklehead and you built in the middle of the forest that's dry as a bone. You're moving to the city now. So in any case, there we go. Because I was telling you about how I almost died on that.
oh yeah, because you shot your elk and hold on.
Well, wait.
You shot your elk and you were trying to drag it. That is a hornet, by the way. That you're hearing.
Growler, probably.
Yeah. But there was so much growth and just dead trees.
So I tried to
crap.
drag it down at first. I thought, man, I'll just drag it right down this draw, right down to my truck. It was all downhill. But there were so many trees and so much crap in the way that I couldn't do it. So, I don't know. It was just a long day. I went up, I went back into town. I got myself like this windlass system, which is like multiple ropes on a pulley, and that increases the draw strength of something. That didn't work. So I packed all this stuff up. It's probably like 60, 70 pounds of gear. I walked up the hill to that road that was halfway out.
Right.
And I was in like snow up to my knees.
Oh,
so I'm
geez.
pushing snow, right? And I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm walking. And I'm just wearing out. Like I had nothing left. Like all the sugars that kind of float around in your blood all the time, right?
Yeah,
they were all gone.
They were expended.
I mean, there have been a few times in my life where I have drained my body to zero. Not a lot of them, but this was one of them. And it was pure willpower that got me to the end of that road. And the knowledge that this is how people die. Like, literally.
I'm about to die.
So seriously, so I come around a corner. Good grief. You gotta fly on a Sunday. Really? Come on.
That is P3.
Just a minute. So anyhow, I come around a corner, and my dad's friend, one of the retired band teachers association, blow the conch, what ho, we ride for the Tim. Those people. We'll tell the ride for the Tim story next time. Anyways, so he had left a game cart on this road, which is really nice of him. Remember how I said I was kind of hypothermic and not thinking most clearly? My mind said, now I got to take this thing back too. And so I did. So now I'm pushing snow up to my knees, pushing a game cart with big wheels through this snow up to my knees, and just grinding through. And there were several times where this is where the whole you will die thing, right? I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to sit down for a minute. And then there was just a little piece of my brain said, nope, that's how the people with hypothermia die.
Do it.
They sit down and then they freeze to death. I'm like, I hate you, little part of my brain, but okay. Yep. Walked 4 miles out of those woods, on a road at least, but on zero energy. Like I had nothing left in me.
There weren't even reserves, man. It was
Nope, there
straight
was
up.
nothing.
willpower.
And my dad is at the end of the road. They were looking for me.
Oh,
They were
okay.
worried because it was dark, like had been dark for 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm walking out by the light of the moon. And I see the headlights. I was so happy to see the headlights. I was like, yay!
I'm saved.
I don't even care if that's my parents. And they had coffee for me. And my dad said I couldn't form a complete sentence. I was like, I just want to, maybe I can get some. It's like, sit down, have some coffee. Took 3 days to get that stupid elk out of those woods. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Wait for it. Textbook.
Gotten busted for weed. Really, you know what's crazy is how that was such a big deal for such a long time, and now it's almost nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's been decriminalized in most places. I mean,
Well, here it's legal.
It's legal where we're at, yeah.
Yeah, recreational and medicinal. We have whole stores.
But most, I don't know how accurate this is when I say most, but I believe a lot of the states have at least decriminalized it for, you know, like what used to be like minor possession is not a thing anymore. You know, someone gets busted with a dime sack, they probably don't go to jail anymore. You know.
Yeah,
They
don't.
confiscated. You know.
Well, it's stupid to waste. I mean, I think part of it is that they've come to view this as wasting resources.
Yeah,
You are wasting legal resources.
Costing more. It's costing more to process you than to pay the fine. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Legal.
Oh, it's legal. Okay.
Wow,
Sweet.
that was a fast response.
Yeah, I know. Usually there's a delay between what we say and probably what you see, so we're kind of curious.
Of course,
but,
it is Vegas. Let's be honest here, Bo. Is anything illegal in Vegas?
I know, right? Maybe murder. That's about it, you know?
I mean, maybe. We don't know. Living outside of Vegas, we kind of think it's just like you could do whatever you want.
Now, I've driven through Vegas, but as far as actually being anywhere, I've gone to Fallon a few times with the Navy, the air base there, but never went to Reno though. Even though I was in Fallon quite a few times, I never went to Reno.
No delay, just ignoring us. Hey, we love you too, man.
So yeah, just my experience with Nevada has been Fallon, and that's Fernley. I had a friend living in Fernley actually.
You know, I really like Nevada.
It was nice. It was fun.
I like Fallon. Fallon itself. I know that's crazy. Nobody likes Fallon.
I like Fallon.
You know, one of the reasons I like Fallon is because Fallon is very similar to where I grew up.
Ah, okay.
It's kind of in the bottom of this valley, but it's a really big, broad valley with mountains on both sides. It's kind of like what Townsend's like. It's in the bottom of this big valley, and it's the Broadwater Valley, right?
Right.
And then there's big mountain ranges on both sides of it. It's like, I liked Fallon. Now, granted, if you got off the road, you sunk up to your ankles in mud. That wasn't great.
Yeah, the only time
salty mud. By the way,
the only time I didn't care for it is when we would go to, go to the NAS for like whatever during the winter. It's just like it was cold, like cold.
I like that too, though. See, because I'm a cold weather guy.
Right, true. But it was a crisp cold. That was night check. I remember being out there at 2 a.m. feeling airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so crystal clear, and even though it was cold, it was not a wet cold. So
well, it is. It's very dry.
Yeah.
And that really does change things. So I'm from Montana, and hanging out at like 20 degrees below zero in like a light jacket and jeans, maybe a long sleeve shirt. Go back to Connecticut, where it's 30 degrees, so a whole 50 degrees warmer, practically.
Right.
But it's so humid, and I'm just like,
right.
Jesus, freezing. Answer: Vegas is just like every city, but you can drink and gamble 24/7.
Well, one of these days we gotta check out Vegas, man.
I personally think they should sell beer.
We'll hit you up, dude. We'll meet for a beer somewhere,
It's when we're in Vegas, we're finding you.
We'll find a nice tap house.
Yes. Why do you live in Vegas? Are you from Vegas? Or did you just land there after everything was done?
Well, one of the mass chiefs that I worked for, she retired. Her and her husband moved to Vegas after retiring from the Navy. I mean, I guess they wanted, it, whatever reason they wanted to move there, So
I wonder what Bo's story is.
But her thing was, I'm not going back to work. She's like, I'm going to retire. I'm going to be retired.
That was my goal.
Yeah.
I definitely was like, done.
And her husband's a retired mass chief as well. I think he is still doing stuff because he got a PhD and whatever. That's what I heard. But I haven't talked to him.
Well, if you're doing what you want to do, that's different.
Right.
It's different than being a contractor on the base or working for an auto parts store. Which we could quit those jobs.
We could quit those jobs.
We should start small international self-defense firm.
Blackwater too.
Blackwater too. Well, we sell self-defense equipment to people across 3 borders.
Across 3 borders.
So I'm just saying. Raised in LA, mom moved to Vegas when I was 12. Got you. All right. So
Okay,
in
so
effect, you're from
you
Vegas.
grew up there,
You are
yeah.
from Vegas.
Got you, man.
Yeah. Got you. I got to tell you, I would love to move home or to Peru.
For me, I don't want to go home. There's nothing there for me. It's too blasted hot. And
I can understand that. It's El Paso.
yeah, there's Paso, Texas. I know I mentioned before. I don't know. I mean, I have very minimal family that are still there. In fact, I think it's an uncle and his wife. And my
Is that
cousins. Yeah.
Where does your dad live?
Arizona.
Oh, so practically El Paso.
He used to live in Tucson, and then he moved, I don't know, like 20 miles south of Tucson, going towards the border.
He went further south?
Yeah, some little kind of retirement community out down there.
You know, I met your dad. I liked your dad, but is he all right up here?
It's what it is, man.
Freaking Arizona!
Well, when he was in the Army, he got stationed at Fort Huachuca one time.
Fort Huachuca.
And he
God bless you.
And he said he fell in love with Arizona, and ever since then, he knew, like he just knew when he retired, he was going to go back, So that was his shtick.
San Diego is stupid expensive.
Yeah.
That's no doubt. You are absolutely right about that.
A friend I grew up with back home in El Paso, he was stationed in San Diego most of his career, and he just retired recently as well. But yeah, I remember going down there to visit. They lived in Chula Vista, and it's just like, man.
Textbook
boil.
Yeah,
That is a rolling boil.
I remember Corpus. Now, I know that Arizona and El Paso probably aren't as humid as Corpus was,
No, not at all.
but it was just so stupid hot, man. 105 degrees is just ridiculous. It should not be that hot.
It would get that hot where I'm from, but it wouldn't be humid though. It'd be much more dry. Arizona is even more dry than El Paso. I used to go visit my dad during the summer, and
Your hands would crack. And
I just remember it's like, oh, the sun's blazing, but it just didn't feel as bad from when I remember where I was growing up. And then whenever I visited family in the Dallas area, the Garland, it was really humid out there, man. Compared to
Garland, Texas?
Yeah, which is Fort Worth area. It's one of those little suburbs kind
Which
of
is
thing.
crazy because that's nowhere close to the coast.
No, but it's much more humid in that area compared to the West,
Right.
And then, but where you're at in Corpus is probably even more humid than it was in Dallas.
It was right on the Gulf of
Yeah.
Mexico. Yes, it was humid.
And then I did my first tour in the Navy in Jacksonville, Florida, and that's humid as well.
Oh,
man.
geez, man. It's kind of like Dubai. Jeez.
Florida humidity. Oh yeah, Dubai.
The whole Gulf. Just
Yeah.
how can it be so hot
Yeah, I
and
spent-
so sticky?
Spent enough time in Dubai as well. Not just port visits, but I went IA there too. So
Bo is getting this. Are you ready? This
go
is a
for it,
good
go
one.
for it.
My oldest son lives in Phoenix. It's like moving closer to the sun. It's so, parentheses, family friendly, hot.
Nice one,
You are
dude.
awesome. To you, Bo.
That was good. Good job, man. Family friendly hot.
Family friendly hot. We're going to get this broadcast on PureFlix yet.
Yeah, right. We can tell ourselves that. That was a good one. Yeah.
That was awesome. You made us laugh with that one, Bo.
Visited Phoenix a few times, and yeah, man, you were absolutely correct. It is so bloody hot there.
Can you imagine being a roofer in Phoenix?
Oh man,
Do they work at night?
you have to work at night to do that if you're gonna be a roofer.
I mean, you would have to be. That is just a. I mean, that is not just like without being like hyperbolic or stupid. Like that's just dangerous.
Right.
It's like you can't put a person. Although you and I bounced around with plastic
White
hats and long sleeve shirts and gloves and long sleeve pants and steel toed boots.
You know, that's a good point. We did do the job in the Persian Gulf on the deck of a carrier, and you had to have long sleeves, gloves, your cranial and goggles and stuff.
You gotta figure ambient temperature was probably what 110.
If not more,
At least 110. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody says 150, but that's really stupid hot.
I think the hottest I experienced was August in the Persian Gulf. Just bloody, man. Miserable. Like souls are melting on the deck kind of thing. You know, it's so hot.
Well, then you turn all those blast furnaces on.
Yeah, the exhaust of the aircraft, sure, man.
Mm-hmm. It's like, man, that was some
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
I got.
Ever
scared. I
notice
thought
when
I
Bo
burned
shows
myself.
up, everything's a Navy story?
I know, right? That's what vets do, man. They talk about their experiences.
Yeah,
No, I got scared one time. I thought I might have hurt myself. This is back when Tomcat was still on the deck. My first deployment on John F. Kennedy, we were in the Persian Gulf, and Tomcat was going to Cat 2, and I was working on an S3 at ARS. You know, for the prop that killed the guy we talked about. Anyway. Tomcat went to tension to launch, and even with the JBDs up, man, I just caught so much heat where I thought I burned my neck because I was just like, oh shit, you know. And yeah, it scared me for a minute there, you know.
Hey, Bo, thanks for putting the family-friendly thing in there. Apparently, Steve doesn't care.
Hey, S-bombs are so PG. We're not even PG-13 yet. We're good.
Look, man, we are not going to grab the Baptist niche here if we keep this up. They will never watch us. Of course, granted,
Well, then I guess we can't drink beer while we work then.
I was going to say, it's a show about...
Because once I'm about 2 or 3 in, yeah. My filters start going away, man.
It is a show about beer, so we're probably not going to pick up the Baptist
Probably
crowd
not,
anyways.
yeah.
They kind of still have a hang-up. That's what I really like about Orthodoxy.
Point being, you know, the flight deck was a hot environment, especially in that part of the world, man. So I guess a Phoenix roofer would definitely relate in a sense, you know.
Oh yeah, man. During
Heat
those cruises, I'd go find a head, and I would just soak myself, literally,
Oh yeah.
just water, and not even just enough so I could see. You know, just wipe my
Right.
face enough so I could see, but not wipe anything off, and then put my cranial back on and
Soaking
back
wet,
out.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
worked.
I used to do that. I did similar things. I'd find a scuttlebutt and just and then go back out, you know.
Yeah. So crazy hot.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know why people live in that part of the world.
And then when I did my West Packs with like Nimitz and Reagan and all that, yeah, we'd still do our Persian Gulf time. Well, we did it twice. We left the Gulf, went back because things were stirred up. We had to go back. It's just like, no, what are we doing? No, we just left.
Well, I told you, I was telling that story. It's like my one winter cruise into the Gulf. I was so excited.
You're like,
It's
it's
like,
winter.
It's a winter cruise. It'll only be 100 degrees on the flight deck.
Yeah.
This is gonna be great. And then freaking Al Qaeda was moving up into Ethiopia, and we got that call. Sure enough, south of the equator. So of course now it's summer again.
Gonna stay summer.
Great. Back up to 120 degrees on the flight deck.
Oh, good times, man.
So the Prowler, of course, because that's the platform I was on. They don't have any guns, but tell you what, if a Prowler low passes you and you're on a little dinghy and you're a pirate, apparently it scares the hell out of you.
Probably flip you over, depending on how low it passes, you know.
Oh, wait a minute. We got comments that we didn't respond to.
Uh-oh.
Ever seen anyone blown off the deck by the jet's exhaust?
Not blown off the deck, but the guy I worked with, one of my compadres in my squadron, walked off the back of an airplane because what they'll do is they'll push that airplane back to where it's against the, what do they call it, the scuttle? Or the gunnel. The gunnel. That's right. They call it the gunnel.
What, you're talking about the rail around
That kind of rail that's on the edge of the ship
Yeah, that's
there.
the gunnel.
They would push the aircraft back.
Spelled gun whale.
Gunwale, yeah. They pushed the aircraft back so that the main mounts were up against the gunnel, but the ass of the airplane was over the water in some cases. And one of the guys I worked with,
You know what, Bo? You can just use whatever language you want.
it was night shift and dark, and he was inspecting the airplane and didn't pay attention and walked right off. So of course we had a man overboard.
Oh, geez.
And then we didn't know it was our guy at first until they recovered him, and he actually had to go into the little studio there, where the little, what they call it, closed circuit studio they had on the ship, and then talked about his experience as a man overboard. Yeah, I was on the Kitty Hawk when I was in VFA 102.
So what I have seen is when I was on the USS Incheon, I didn't see this girl didn't get blown off the Incheon, but one of the helos landed, right? And so the helos that I flew on were 100 feet long. They were the MH-53 Echoes.
The big ones, yeah.
You can look them up if you want, but they have a 79-foot rotor arc, 100 feet long, 99 feet, 1/2 inch.
1/2 inch.
That was a big deal when we were taking our little test. It was basically a way to see if you actually read.
Actually studied, yeah.
Anyhow, I forget where she was, but it came down, and the rotor wash caught her. And the rotor wash under 53 is roughly 100 miles an hour.
Oh, so it's like hurricane kind of wind.
And she was one of these 110-pound soaking wet in a wool jumpsuit type girls.
She an AO.
You know, I don't know her.
I say that jokingly, but kind of half jokingly because it always seems like the female AOs I know are tiny.
She was a crewman. Maybe she was an AO. Anyways, what I do know is that rotor wash caught her and rolled her down the deck. And I don't think you were ever on any carriers, but on the carriers they have non-skid everywhere. And when it's fresh, it's a lot like a cheese grater.
Yeah.
And so
it'll grind you.
Yeah, she was like out of commission for a week or so.
Yeah,
same thing.
I've seen people get kind of blown down, not as intense as what he's describing, but I've seen people kind of get this kind of they get blown down and they get kind of rub their hands up a little bit because they had to catch themselves, but never like someone blowing off the deck.
I've seen like some of the cool ones where like the guy gets blown over, like one of the troubleshooters. I remember he gets blown over and he's rolling down the deck and the jet's gone, but there's still enough wind and he caught his feet and stood back up and he's like, "Hey,
I'm good."
Makes it look cool. It's like, you're not cool. Go find all your tools that you just spread all over the deck.
See your tool pouch is open. Yeah.
Go find your screwdriver and your pliers and all those fun things that you just lost. I've seen that happen. I know a guy who fell off the edge and he was hanging on to some cable and one of his buddies saved him.
Oh, damn, really?
And almost didn't save him. But he was hanging on and his buddy was trying to figure out how to get to him, but he was on some cable that runs off. I remember it was funny. He's like,
he was back by the crane.
Yeah.
That's one place I know there's cables down there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was like, "It's greasy." It's like he couldn't hang on because it was grease. Because
in that case, he should have went like this as best he could. Maybe he couldn't,
Yeah, I don't know, man. But anyways, yeah, hooked an arm over and just kind of hooked himself like that. But he didn't fall all the way in. I didn't see it, but there was one guy on one cruise that jumped. Took his boots off
like a
for
suicide?
some odd reason.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Every shipboard deployment, there was always one suicide in the drink, man.
So I never had any successful suicides.
Yeah.
But I had the one guy, and of course, man, I would have hated to be him. When they picked him up out of the water.
Yeah.
Because they did. Launched a helo, found him, picked him up out of the water. It's like, you can't even commit suicide, right, bub? Go ahead, be depressed.
You're going to mast.
We are about to take a part of your soul.
Now, mine was it was the second day underway for deployment. I was on the Enterprise, and some like blue shirt, plane handler female. I guess she got a Dear Jane letter or something. I don't know. She decided to jump, and they never found her.
Yeah, well, the ocean is big, man. And if they decide to ditch their float coat, no float coat, no sea dye package, no nothing.
I can't remember if it was one of my cruises, but one of the stories I've been told by some friends of mine, there was one guy put aircraft chains on him and float coat off and jumped. So the chains weighted him down. You know what I mean?
It's kind of sad to think about, man. How did this? Dude, this is not. We don't usually get this dark.
I know, it's kind of dark, man.
Yeah, let's lighten up. Let's talk about the kid who went in. So the Prowler, right? So the Prowler's exhaust, the old airplane I used to work on, it's gone now. It's completely gone. Like, not even the Marines have the Prowler anymore.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, the Prowler
the
Prowler is gone. It's all F-18s.
We got there.
Anyways, it says one new comment. Why is it doing that?
It didn't scroll for whatever reason.
They'll swim down till they're out of breath, or so I'm told. You did training on the Abraham Lincoln, but you weren't allowed on deck, huh? Well, to be honest, I can understand that though.
Probably for safety,
Because even it doesn't matter how much of a badass you are in your particular field. If you take yourself from that field and move yourself, let's take loggers, just for fun, right? So, because it's totally random, right? So loggers are familiar with the dangers of logging,
right?
You know, they're familiar with widowmakers. They're familiar with the fact that you cut this tree, but it might fall any direction.
Go this way.
We know how chainsaws can kick back. We know all this fun stuff, right? So in their field, loggers are, you know, they're strong, tough guys, and they know how to stay alive, you know, right? Take a logger and put him on the flight deck.
Right. Like,
It's like,
what do I do?
you know, no offense to you, but you don't know the dangers that are here. So Bo was a former SEAL, right? I can understand. It's like, yeah, you're a SEAL. You know lots about combat. You know all these things.
Self-defense, survival.
But you don't know about how the flight deck works. So I can see it's like, yeah, we understand you're a badass as far as a SEAL goes.
But stay down here for now. Yeah.
But an F-18, or actually in Bo's day, would have been like an A4 or an F4.
Probably an A7.
A7 with the man-eaters.
Charlie Hornets, S3s, and Tomcats.
Right.
And Tomcats.
Point being, those big vacuum cleaners don't care how amazing you are as a SEAL. They will suck you up and chew you up.
Yeah, they will grind you.
Oh, I know my dumbass would have done something to hurt myself. Well, yeah, but it's an interesting on a broader scale. Instead of just making fun of ourselves and stuff, it's just like this idea. It's like you can be very competent and like a very impressive
what you
figure
do,
in your field. Take it to a different field. Like take a pilot. You know, pilot's amazing in the air. Okay, you're amazing in the air. Here, drive a car like that.
Drives like crap, you know. Yeah.
It's like.
You can't do that.
I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, because in the air you have all sorts of, you've got all, you know what's going on, but down here you've got more limits. You've got the.
How's that beer?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm keeping up with you.
No, right. It's a true point. Yeah, you know, you take someone out of their element, they might make a mistake. You know.
Right. No matter how competent or amazing or. You know, just use it because badass is a good term for what we're speaking about.
Right.
No matter how much of a badass they are in a certain area, in another area, they're completely incompetent. You know, I use that when I was in air crewman school. There's a couple E5s, right? Completely unrelated, but these guys were giving us a hard time. Oh, this and the other. And I remember I was a cocky E3, right? And I said, look, man, everybody's a rookie somewhere. He's like, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, okay, let's talk music. Because that's something I know, right? Tell me about dominant seventh chords. Tell me about major keys. Tell me about minor keys. Tell me about another scale. Tell me how all this works. Do you know? He's like, whoa, whoa. It's like, you don't know. My point is not that you need to be a musician. My point is everybody's a rookie somewhere.
Right.
I'm a rookie here now. Don't think you're a badass. And you know what? To that guy's credit, he backed up. He's like, I'll give it. He's like, all right, you're right. And then he's like, you're still a rookie. He's like, okay, fine. And that guy, you know, was cool. So back during that day, hey, not next week. We do this every 2 weeks.
The week after, yeah, we'll do that.
So the week after. Take care of yourself, both. Thank you very much for checking in. We really appreciate it. Yeah, like we really do. It's really man. Cool. You are our first regular viewer. That is really cool.
He's a charter viewer.
Yeah, he's a plank owner. Plank owner. All right. Take care of yourself. Care, man. We'll see ya. So actually, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Think of it. Like, he's the first regular viewer. One thing. So we gotta. What time do we start? We start at 3:30 today.
Roughly
we're pretty close.
Yeah.
We need to aim for that.
Okay. Especially
now that we have a regular viewer, so he can know, so that Bo can know. At 3:30 on Sunday, these guys will be on.
Right.
We also need to do that because you have a new shift, and we cannot say it is already 17:51.
We're fine. We are fine.
I know we're fine, but I'm just saying.
We're about 35 minutes, 28 minutes remaining in the boil. It was at 15, right? Hops 2?
10.
10 remaining. Okay.
So we got time till hops 2.
Yeah, we still got like 18.
That really is a good boil. That's working good. And we didn't boil it over. I'm so proud of us.
We have a nice method on that one. Yeah, we did well. So we should probably get everything else ready.
What else is to get ready?
Is the carboy already clean?
I mean, well, it's not rinsed. I suppose we should rinse it.
Oh, we rinse it. You want to kill the camera and just focus on?
Nah, man. I like to run the camera. I mean, we're only at what?
We can even run the camera and do like we did last time.
Yeah, we'll just keep. All right. So, well, first thing we need to do, we need to get ourselves more beers.
Oh, priorities, man.
I will take care of that. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Or Beethoven, or Mozart.
Nice aroma. I like you. Oh, what do we got here? All right. This is kind of the like watching paint dry part. Just waiting for the boil. So we got to put our wort chiller in there and sanitize it. Standard.
Oh yeah.
Standard.
Classic long hammers. Long hammers. Look over there. See how we're doing.
Oh, you're way off, brother. Unless, oh, never mind. It's two-sided. Looks good.
Okay.
Our big screen is froze again, but the little monitoring is.
Oh, geez. That's hard to see from where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It looked actually, even though I couldn't see the details, I could see the difference in contour between the top and the bottom of the can.
Okay,
so you were actually there.
So the whole can was actually on the.
What I didn't realize was they had the same graphic on both sides. So
I really want to know. We should email the Haps folks and say, "Hey, why does that happen?
Why does it do that?"
I mean, granted, we're running up on a 2.5-hour broadcast. Maybe it just runs out of memory.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. It is what it is, but it is kind of annoying because we rely on that to be monitors.
We need to get ourselves some cheap flat screen. I mean, they sell cheap flat screens. It doesn't need to be high res.
We can even buy a cheap one from eBay, probably. Some little like 20-inch screen that we can set up right next to the camera so that we can use it as a monitor.
I think that's a good idea because really, it doesn't need to be amazing. It doesn't have to have amazing graphics.
No, it just needs to be big enough that we can see what's going on, so that we see what the camera, so we can actually see what's being broadcast to whoever's watching.
Freaking $5 CRT. Who cares?
I don't know if go back that far, but a small, cheap screen would be easy. Yeah. CRT. What? Are you serious? They don't even make those anymore.
But you could still buy them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the CRT
on eBay.
The CRT and the VHS, VCR are a relic now, man.
Guess how long they made the VHS for VCR though?
I know, years, dude.
I mean, seriously, like the last VHS VCR was like, it was like less than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They stopped manufacturing it.
We still have VHS movies, like Disney movies and crap. I would love to get rid of them, but the wife's not going to let me do that.
Not going to happen,
Not going to happen. So I don't even bring it up. I'm just like, okay. I mean, they're not valuable. They're just Disney movies that were in VHS, those plastic.
But they have value, sentimental value and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just letting it go. I'm just like, okay. I think we have a VHS player. I thought she bought a VHS DVD combo at one time.
I think we have one in the house somewhere.
I think we have one somewhere. So. But I can't tell you the last time I bought a movie though. Even on DVD, I haven't bought a movie. You know, I used to buy movies regularly, but
you know, there's a couple reasons. Number one, you can screen them,
right?
I mean, stream them. Sorry.
I know what you meant.
And number two, movies just
it's not the same anymore.
They're
At least
not
not to me. You know, it's not the same.
Maybe it's because we're getting older.
Like
Maybe
I don't care about owning movies anymore. You know.
Maybe it's just because movies don't seem to be worth watching more than once. I mean,
Yeah,
now for me, very few movies.
Right, same here. Very few movies do I watch more than once.
We're talking like The Princess Bride.
That's classic.
I'll watch that.
I'll watch
right?
that. I'll watch Blade Runner too, the original Blade Runner. I'll watch that. Not the latest one.
Blade Runner 2049.
Whatever it is. Which I mean, I liked it, but it just I don't know, man. They didn't do it quite right. I don't think. But the original Harrison Ford Blade Runner from like 1982, which was just phenomenal, especially with the cinematography for its time, fucking amazing. PG-13.
And there we go. It was. And the soundtrack was pretty amazing too.
Yeah. Vangelis?
Vangelis.
Or is it Vangelis?
Vangelis. It's
like
spelled
GIF
the same.
It's like GIF and GIF for
It's GIF.
the the graphic format.
I know. Graphics something format. What is it? Graphic interface? Graphic interchange? How can you forget? You're the software engineer, man. You're supposed to know this stuff.
I don't use graphics like that, but point being is, I think it's one of those like tomato, Vangelis, depending who you talk to, kind of thing. I guess we could look it up, and I'm sure at some point in time the actual artist has been asked, "Hey, man, how do you pronounce your name?" You know.
Well, it's Greek.
It is Greek, yeah.
He's Greek.
He is Greek. What was interesting though, he was not commissioned to do the music for that Blade Runner sequel.
Huh.
Yeah. Even though the music sounds very close to his, he did not write the music for it. I don't remember the person's name who did, but it is not Vangelis.
You know, one thing I've read about movie scoring, and some composers, they kind of take it personally, or they get a little bent on it. Is they're like, it's like, I did the music for the first movie. Why am I having to do everything all over again? Like actually submit and try and get into your next movie. I already did this movie. You should just hire me.
Well, you're right. I can see that. It's like I already have the music established. You know,
there are some partnerships that just exist, like Spielberg and Williams, right?
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, the reality is that if you see a Spielberg movie that does not have John Williams on it, it's probably because Spielberg went to Williams and Williams said, I can't. You should probably get another guy. Right?
Right.
I mean, Spielberg has used Williams so much.
Well, I read what it was that happened, and I can't quite remember all the details. I want to say it had to do with they couldn't agree on payment and stuff.
With who? What are you talking
about? With Vangelis and Blade Runner.
Oh,
sequel. Blade Runner 2049.
That might be it.
Like they couldn't come to an agreement on stuff. I thought that's what I read. I could be mistaken, but I can't remember the name of the guy that wrote the music. I mean, he did a good job. I mean, he definitely captured the sound, the ambience. You know, the original Vangelis, whatever.
Right.
But it wasn't, Vangelis. You know.
No.
But the Blade Runner 2049 soundtrack is actually pretty good. I've listened to it on YouTube when I was working on code or something, and it captures that futuristic, sound. The original 1982 Blade Runner, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I've read the original book too that the movie was written from. The book is written by an author named Philip K. Dick, who died. Gosh, I forget when he died. Anyway,
that was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Exactly,
right?
Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. That was the original story that became Blade Runner, the movie. In the original novel, a Blade Runner was just the title of Deckard's character. Like, that was as a cop, that was his title. What's interesting though is I didn't when I read the book, I didn't feel like anything in the book revealed that Deckard Cain, his name is Cain, Deckard Cain, was actually a replicant.
No, and you know what? In the first movie, you didn't feel that either.
Yeah, I didn't feel that either.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was completely out of the blue from the second movie. In fact, it was so out of the blue that like you couldn't look back to the second movie and say, "Oh yeah, that's where they hinted at that."
They didn't.
It wasn't. It was 100% just.
But supposedly, there was an interview I read with, well, they're not the brothers anymore. They're the sisters now. The Wachowskis, whatever. They did the transgender thing. Oh no, Blade Runner was a Ridley Scott movie. I think Blade Runner is. I'm conflating Wachowski brothers originally as Wachowski brothers when they did Matrix. I think I'm conflating that with Blade Runner. No, I actually thinking back now, I think Blade Runner is a Ridley Scott movie. But I believe I read an article with an interview where he was like, "Yeah, it was implied, but where? Where was it implied in the original movie that he was actually a replicant?"
I think they just said that. But,
Yeah, I know.
But you didn't catch it because I watched both those movies. You didn't catch it. Hey, what's our time, by the way?
17 minutes remaining, so in 7 minutes
so we got 7 minutes.
We'll add the hops in 7 minutes.
So apparently Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfisch. Quote from Benjamin Wallfisch: "We tried to create the intention of a more contemporary sound using 40-year-old technology. It's a lot harder, but the result has soul." Interesting.
Okay, so they use the same synths from the era, I guess, right? Is what they're saying. To write the music for the latest Blade Runner, right? Is that what you're telling me?
Say again? Well, I'm imagining because they say 40-year-old technology,
right.
So
1982,
they had to write a score using old technology, which that statement is kind of dumb. We tried to create the intention of a more contemporary sound using 40-year-old technology. It's a lot harder, but the result has soul. It's like, oh, we tried to make something more modern sounding using violins. Okay, so violins is like what? 14th century technology? 13th? 12th?
Stradivarius.
How old is the violin? That is an old instrument.
Yeah.
It's like, don't tell me about this 40-year-old technology. Oh, it was so hard. It's like, I'm sorry, Ben. You ain't got no sympathy.
I get it. If you're using 40-year-old synths and shit, so be it. Maybe what was hard was the programming, not the actual playing. I mean,
well, I can understand with synthesizers though. A synthesizer sound is gonna especially let's say you use like an 8-bit.
Well, back then they altered the signal with potentiometers and stuff. Now it's just a digital dial.
Yeah,
if I go from a saw blade to a square signal or whatever.
Well, you're right. I mean, because if you drop down even to my old G5, but still, that's the whole thing. It's like, shoot, I made a pretty piece. What? Kniff? No, Kniff is still out. I felt that I made a pretty modern sounding score.
Oh, yeah.
Using 2005 technology.
True.
So it's like, I don't think I'm giving that to you. But what we haven't answered, in July, is disclosed that Zimmer and Wallfisch would be brought in to compose additional pieces. Wait. All right, let's back up. Thanks, sir. 18 release date for Blade Runner sequel. A nerdier, synth-inclined sect was more interested in knowing who would be tasked with following up Vangelis' pioneering score. At this publication, we envisioned the role filled by producers like Arca, Holly Herndon, Cliff Martinez, and Michael Levi. Months later, Johan Johansson was brought into the fold, reuniting the Blade Runner 2049 director Denis Villeneuve, for whom he composed the acclaimed scores for Arrival and Sicario. And then Zimmer and Wallfisch would be brought in to make more pieces. For Zimmer and Wallfisch, composing in reverence to Vangelis was never a question. Zimmer even considered bringing Vangelis in on the project. Hints of the original score are most present on various cues. But the hardware choice, Yamaha CS80, was more influential than his actual sounds. The CS80, a temperamental 200-pound analog synth that came on the market in '76, was one of the key pieces of equipment Vangelis used in constructing the score for the original Blade Runner. Zimmer says, over-designed, complicated, and unwieldy piece of hardware.
Jeez.
One of its famous design faults is that if you plug the pedal in the wrong way, it will start catching fire and burst into flames.
Oh, nice.
That is a problem. Sounds like a user problem, though. The magic of it is, and what Vangelis embraced so brilliantly, is that it's a real musical instrument. It responds to your touch, it translates your soul and your musicality the way a musical instrument is supposed to. It's so the opposite of how we make music in the modern world with a mouse on a screen. Maybe Zimmer makes music with a mouse on a screen. That's not how I do it. I mean, literally, I play all my stuff. Whether I play it on a keyboard or I play it on my guitar or whatever. But it doesn't say why Vangelis didn't write it. Why wouldn't Vangelis write it?
Yeah, I could be confused on what I thought I read, which is not too uncommon. You know what I mean?
Well, let's rephrase the question. Why didn't Vangelis? Nothing is autofilling here, right? The Blade Runner sequel score. Why didn't Ridley Scott sign Vangelis? There it is, right there.
Scott, so correct.
Mm-hmm. This is on Quora.com, which is pretty good, generally speaking.
Almost there. Almost about a minute left. A little over a minute.
Vangelis should have been involved since the beginning of pre-production, but something didn't work. Probably the Greek composer wasn't interested, or the producers were persuaded to take a different artistic
This is conjecture,
path.
though.
It is. I'm reading as fast as I can.
Well, I got you, man. Hopefully, there's some, factual stuff in there.
Nope, that's worthless.
It's all conjecture.
Let's try a different one. Here's Reddit.
I'm not gonna be much better, but give it a shot, bro.
Sometimes Reddit's okay. Oh, this sounds a little more. This sounds a little more believable. So here we go. From the Telegraph, which is a English paper, right? So why wasn't Vangelis asked to score Blade Runner 2049 in the first place? And more pressingly, what has happened to the musician who has defined sci-fi soundtracks for decades? The 74-year-old had a professional and pragmatic answer to why he wasn't revisiting his most famous work for Villeneuve's revamp. Speaking to NPR last year, he explained, "You can never repeat certain things. It's only once in a lifetime. It's like doing another Chariots of Fire. It's impossible. It makes sense that Villeneuve, I think I'm killing that name.
Yeah.
It looks Hispanic. I want to say Villeneuve. Either that or they're misspelling it. I want to say Nueve, but that's not it. It doesn't matter. It makes sense that Villeneuve wouldn't want to risk treading old ground, even if he did. Ultimately, and what the heck did I just do?
I am going to put the chiller in the sanitizer. Here.
In any case, looks like the point is that Vangelis said, no, I don't want to do it.
Okay.
Which makes sense. I mean, and really, there are certain things, like maybe they shouldn't even have made the sequel. It wasn't nearly as good as the original.
The effects were nice, but yeah. Story-wise, no. I agree. I don't think it was as good.
Did you already add the hops?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see you do that. That's right. You did ask for the night. Yeah, no, I get it. Throw that in there.
Get it sanitized.
Let that boil and sanitize.
Look, I modified it too,
Oh, look at that!
so we don't have to worry about that first stage anymore.
I am very impressed, actually. That is very cool. We should probably put a weight or something on that. I'm sure I have a brick or something somewhere, or a rock. All right, so tell you what. There's a viewer number 6. I don't know if they're still here and just hanging out. Hello, viewer number 6, if you're still here. If you're not, well, okay, so you're not here. And I'm talking to no one. I'm going to go rinse the carboy.
Okay.
Because that's about all we really need to do at this point. Rinse the carboy. Because once we, well, actually, you know, we don't have to do that. We can both stay on camera for this whole time. So you can run the, like you can run the wort chiller, and I'll rinse the carboy, and I'll rinse the funnel and stuff. We got this. We got this. Are we running out of things to talk about? You know,
Probably.
it does happen at the 2 hour and 35 minute mark.
2 hour and 35 minutes. Yeah.
That's how long it takes us to brew beer.
Okay.
Can you imagine if we did all grain brewing?
Yeah, it's an all-day event. We'd have to start like at 9 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Probably have to do episodes.
Right.
We would have to coordinate and make sure we both had a full day off.
Like probably do it on like Saturdays, but you work. But
I work on Saturdays.
well, you work Saturdays and then you go to church on Sundays. So
yeah,
yeah.
church. That's the thing is I do, and church is not changing. Obviously, what we have to do is quit our jobs. I can see this. It's just the truth.
I would like to go do that, but I just don't think I can.
Well, you kind of need to put a roof on your house.
Kinda,
And that's
literally.
that's expensive. Ah.
Putting this chiller here kind of interrupted the flow
Yeah, did you crank it up a little
a
bit?
little bit. Yeah.
It's still moving.
Oh,
I think we're all right.
Yeah, we're good.
But it would be good to get it back to boiling because they don't say warm it up for 10 minutes. They say boil it for 10 minutes.
Boil it. Boil. There we go. A little boily.
I mean, it's definitely still moving. Like all the liquid is definitely moving, but we changed a lot of things in there. For one thing, it runs into the coils, right? So I still didn't get the feeders in the chicken coops.
Oh.
Bummed by that. But I did get the lights. I got all the lights in. I got the timers on there. Of course, right now we're not too bad, right? So the chickens wake up at 5. That's when those lights come on. But Timoteo is out there by 6:37,
Oh, okay.
and he lets them out. So they're only an hour and a half in there just clucking around.
Clucking around. Being chickens.
I got to figure out. I want to build a fence down in the lower property so that I can let them out and roam around. Because I've noticed that the boys' eggs aren't like the really dark orange that they used to be. And part of it's because they're clucking around in that chicken run, but they've already kind of killed everything in there through their scratching. And then just, you know, the manure and stuff has killed everything off. And so all their food is all just regular chicken food.
Just feed. Okay.
Which is why like your regular white eggs you buy from the store, that's why they look like they look.
Oh.
You know, because they're just all eating chicken food. And chickens eat a lot of things. They're carnivores and they're omnivores. They're herbivores and carnivores and omnivores and cannibals. And cannibals all at once. Kind of an evil animal, really, if you think about it. How much time we got left?
Just a little under 4 minutes. We're at 3.5 now. So.
3.5 minutes. I don't know, man. What do you think? Should we call it?
That's what we call it.
Should we call it, folks? I don't even think viewer number 6 is even there.
Probably not.
I
That's
think
okay.
they clicked and then they left.
Yeah, we should just call it because we still got to finish getting the cardboard
Yeah,
ready.
we got to get stuff going. All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Besides that, we got to rinse all the other stuff.
Yeah, we got to rinse and de-bleach stuff and all that fun stuff. All right, so lots of fun tonight. Had a good time talking with our friend Bo. And hey, if you come along, we will talk with you too. We'll chat. It always makes the broadcast more interesting to have someone to talk to. And we'll talk about anything except for yeast infections. I don't know why. I just threw that out there. Just a random thing. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, for those of you watching on the replay, if you've made it this far, you are amazing because it's a 2 hours and 40 minutes of just nonsense and random rambling. It's much better to watch live, we think. All right. So that'll do it for us. So until then, relax.
Don't worry.